Hey, how you doing? This is John Byrne here, and
You look a little like him.
I'm here to work Marcus, who's as John Byrne, the one and only John Byrne, greatest comic book artist of all time. I'm gonna hand my torch to Marcus. So Marcus is drawing the public eye. So John Byrne will give you the endorsement to get the public eye by long.
Get the public eye. Get the public eye.
I
I
can't stop
got
thinking
to
about
get past these pages so I can do the cover. I'm not that bad, but I do want to do an order, and I'm thinking of the cover, and I got to get this fifth page. It's more of a talking page with touching and not touching. I know if I say so much, it'll be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say too much. But I will tell you, I was at Heroes Con last week, and I apologize for not being on the show.
Oh, you were at the convention. That's more important.
And Vaughn Coleman says hello.
Cool. Oh man, my beard is looking extra fluffy today. I don't know.
Well, that's because you're putting out because your comic is Santa Claus. You look a little more like Santa Claus today. Yeah. It's just a merging of selling your book.
Who called me Santa Claus today? What do we guys?
So I did. Phil Diaz says hello. I spent time with Phil. And Rini,
Oh, cool.
Rini knows me enough to say, "Hey, what's up?" Like I know her but not just as a an autograph type of thing.
You got that picture of you hanging out with everybody? We'll show that.
Do I have it somewhere? Hold on. That's at Andy, the one at Andy's house, right?
Oh, I don't know where
we saw that on Twitter. You sent that to me.
That was Billy Tucci, right?
That was Andy's house, Andy Smith's house. He's local to here, so he has a get-together before the show and after the show.
Yeah, but anyway, while you're looking for that, it's clobbering time. Marcus and I usually filibuster until people come in. Last week,
tell you what I bought at the con, if you'd like to know. That would be
okay. Fun. Go ahead.
A comic. So I picked up Man with No Strings #2. I talked to Brandon Diaz. And I asked them if you want me to back it, I'll be happy to pay the shipping. But if you're there, I'll get one with the cover by Michael Rushbrook. And I met Mike again at the Rushbrook at the show. They're very nice. They're all really nice people, by the way. Yeah. And then because I also gave him my sketch cover, I said, Phil, I got to give this to you, the public, the people. I just gave him the sketch cover because I'm ambivalent with the artwork a little. And, I thought he might like it. So then he also gave me #0, which I didn't have.
Oh, cool.
So I have to reread #1 because I got to read it in order. You know how that feels.
Yeah, you like me, yeah.
But I really liked it. I like the mythical quality of it. Like it's not just a comic. It's like taken out off of a epic poem of some sort, And I got Arnold Barbarian.
I like the world in A Man with No Strings. I don't know where they're going, and I like it. I want to know more. I'm willing to wait, and I really like that it's Weird Western because I wanted to do a Weird Western, and people told me, no, nobody wants Weird Western. So
there's lots of Weird Westerns now.
Yeah, I want to do one someday. I want to do everything someday.
I like it a lot. I like the issue a lot. He's got great plans for it. It's interesting. Like he had that issue 0 and 1 done forever. He had Oliver working years ago. I got Carnal Barbarian.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's cute. He showed me the first half of it, and he's like such a super nice guy, Jake, that I just had to buy it.
Yeah,
and it's it's a cartooning, like it's not your typical superhero book.
Did you participate in that little scavenger hunt?
No, because I wasn't buying everything, but it's a brilliant thing. I kind of forgot because I got in a busy business with other things.
Well, speaking of other things, here's a in the world of cryptology, this is known as a yellow bearded other thing.
I said hello to one of your Howenberg.
Oh,
nope, T-Bunny left.
Howenberg says hi. I forgot to tell you, he's terrified of heroin burn.
Oh well, yeah, I can understand that. Sure.
Sorry, I went to hit unmute and at the camera. That's all.
He printed my picture of one of his characters on the back.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
And in the world is very small. The guy who does half this book I know from another internet website has visited my house. and went to Heroes Con years ago. I got this Vampirella, the cover by my friend Rich Donkey.
Oh, cool.
And I flipped through the book. The book isn't bad. I mean, I got it because Rich did such a nice cover.
Is that a newer issue or an older issue?
It's a newer issue.
Well, I was planning on going to HeroCon this year, but then my battery took out my alternator, and I wound up dropping about $1,000.
That'll do it. Yeah, T-Bunny's not too far from Heroes Con either. In fact, I've seen him at Heroes Con a couple times. Stippling Vaughn, I talked to. He says hello.
Yeah,
he's all settled in, pretty much settled in there in South Carolina.
Yeah, I want to talk to Stippling one of these days, just about his move. I'm just curious. Was it, why did he move?
I think they actually bought a house. Him and his.
I'm hoping they moved for good reasons. That's what I'm hoping.
He's in a great mood. I got some Batman, old school Batman sketch cover, and that's for me to do sketches. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I got a Red Sonja here somewhere, but it's just Red Sonja. Just sketch cover is not too exciting.
When you talk about Vampirella is a character I just never got. Yeah, I get it. She's a sexy chick. But I never is
like the fact that she's not a vampire, she's an alien.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. She was confusing to me, so I always wrote her off. Yet somehow I must have up to like 20 different Vampirella comics. But like I keep saying, a lot of my friends they're like, I'm done with comics. Here, take them. So I think I got a lot of because I got a lot of cheesecakey comics that I never recalled buying, but I think my friends gave them all. But so I read Vampirella comics. Sometimes she's like a horror host. Sometimes she's like a character in a story. I got nothing against her. I just don't understand. She's
there's characters like that. So Rich did that, and Rich, you may have met Rich. Seen Rich Donkey around. T-Bunny. He's at the smaller cons too.
Okay.
I
probably run across him. I was at Hickory Con just a couple of weeks ago. So.
Yeah. I think he's usually at Hickory Con. And he does a crowdfunder with Keith Champagne. He couldn't make it because he had Lyme disease.
The guy that was at HeroCon just absolutely floored me. You remember he always played like the really nerdy guy. He was like in Midnight Madness. He was he was in Grease. He was like the really geeky guy. He like, if you couldn't get David Carradine, you got this guy. I can't remember his name, but he was there, and I didn't realize how much he'd been in. I was like reading all of his CV, and it was just like, holy crap! I didn't know he was at that. He was at that. He was that. I can't remember his name though. Right up. I said hello to him and talked to him for a minute. I can't remember his name.
Lord Vinzinzer says he's sorry he's late. It's okay. We're filibustering until people get here.
We're waiting for you, Lord.
We kind of chit chat 10 minutes.
I think I would have had more to offer last week with the Asians, but you kind of moved around on me, and
I'm giving a blanket apology because of this. We're doing 5 hours overtime a night, and it's hard to turn it down.
No, you can't turn it down.
Because it's feast or famine. I went like a 3-year period with no overtime on a 7-hour-a-day job, and then now I'm on a 5 hours overtime a day, 10 hours on Saturday, 10 hours on Sunday. Like, you could just, how much money do you want to make this week? And then just work that, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do it while I can, because why not? Get ahead of the bills. I want to retire in 2 years, things like that. So it's hard to stream. And then I forget what happened. Oh, I got home really late. Oh man, 2 weeks ago the traffic.
Eddie Deason. His name's Eddie Deason. I'm sorry.
Oh right. Yeah. You should work all that overtime. You never know when it's going to stop, and it's so much money.
So I don't know where Avengers Assemble is going to be tomorrow, and I don't know Sunday Comics. I have a feeling that overtime is going to be canceled on Sunday because nobody wants to work on Father's Day. Mm-hmm. So that might be the case. But there you go.
What New York?
Yeah. All the
people actually celebrate Father's Day in New York.
It's if nobody wants to come in, the foremen don't come in, and if the foremen don't come in, they cancel the overtime.
Yeah.
That's
But
right. Baby daddies qualify as Father's Day. That's right.
they do sell. I would say even in New York, there's probably more people that are married with have kids than don't.
Right.
Um,
And I will say this:
Wow.
I when we do 5 hours overtime, we have a break, and we have a second coffee break. So the apprentice, I usually never get coffee break. I always bring stuff, but I was like, yeah, if I'm working 5 hours overtime, I'm making enough money, and I don't want to be grouchy, so I get something. I get a cup of coffee. I get a buttered roll. The total old man construction worker coffee break. So I gave the kid some money, and then I went down to the meeting area, and he gave me the money back, and he goes, "It's Juneteenth. The deli was closed."
oh yeah, that was crazy.
So as a joke, I was just like, "Oh man, the deli was closed. Slavery was the worst."
That was funny. I saw that. That was really funny, John.
And everybody looked at me. One of the guy goes, he's shaking his head. Everybody was just like, I go, now I'm finally pissed off about slavery. I said, now because of the slavery, I can't get a buttered roll. Slavery was the worst.
The worst. Yeah, my company, we have in fact, I have a floating holiday off.
Well,
Hello.
what's up, amigos?
How you doing? I don't know if you know, but I have a policy. Keep your camera on. You know what I mean? I want to talk to faces, not avatars. So, do you want to turn your camera on? Yes, no, maybe sometimes. But as you say, Marcus.
Yeah, my work has all the holidays you could think of off, plus an extra one. And even at this job, I don't take a whole lot of days off. Like I took my dad. Like there has to be a reason. My son graduating. Other one, I would, even before I went to haircut, I just don't take days off. I just keep working. I'm so used to it. And so this is the last couple of months of his most time I've ever taken off. And I think traveling. We have guys who travel and they stay weeks at a time at places. Yeah. And they go home on the weekends, but I think they like those little extra couple of days that keep those guys working for them and not finding another job where they're closer to their family.
Well, today a lot of people didn't come in, and then they were like, "Well, you know what? We're not working any overtime." So today we didn't.
I would have worked. I worked when I was with the phone company in New York. I worked every holiday I could, except for Christmas and the
only holiday. In my job, the only 4-day holiday is Thanksgiving, and I don't care what they're doing. I'm taking the 4 days on Thanksgiving. That's the only sacred holiday that I'll take, because a lot, Christmas will be on a Wednesday, and Tuesday we'll work a whole day. You know what I mean? So it's like you come home tired or something like that. So but Thanksgiving, I'm taking those 4 days. I'm taking those 4 days. That's my thing I've been doing for 22 years.
Yeah, I think you should do that. I agree.
But the whole Juneteenth thing is so weird. I've had a friend of mine. He kind of keeps his head in the ground. He doesn't really pay attention to a lot of stuff, and he's wondering why the bank was closed. He says, "Did you know this new holiday?" And I was like, "What, Juneteenth?" And he's like, "What the hell is Juneteenth?" It's I had to explain. He was like, I was like, well, it's celebrating the freeing of the slaves or whatever. He's like, well, what's that got to do with anything? And I was like,
they in there's parts of Texas where they've always celebrated Juneteenth.
Well, when everybody says,
not all of Texas, but particularly North Texas.
Whenever people say, what's Juneteenth, I always say, oh, it's the day the Republicans freed the slaves from the Democrats.
Yeah, I saw you post that. You weren't the only one posting, but that's kind of true. It's true.
It is true. It's exactly what happened.
It is true. So, because one person said, oh, on Juneteenth, every white person should give black people $100 reparations. I said, no, I think on Juneteenth, every black person should go up to a Republican and say, thank you for freeing us from the Democrats. So I'm sure I'm blocked by that guy.
Probably.
I'm not blocked by anybody anymore because I have a new account. Nobody knows who I am.
Oh, that's right. You got hacked.
Except, you guys know. The most important people know, like you guys know. But like all those randoms that used to be, they have no clue. Like David, the guy who writes Space Ghost, He had me on a blockchain. I never talked to him, and now I'm not. I don't want to see his posts. By the way, you don't want to see his.
I find it funny that I'm blocked by Shoe on Head, whom I've never interacted with.
It's a blockchain. It's a blockchain.
Yeah. She
that's
went
all
on a
it is.
blocking spree a few months ago.
Yeah,
There's
like
a lot of
Dan
people
Slott
that got
has
blocked by
those
her.
too. It's like
So,
they take certain words and you're going to get blocked by them no matter what.
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, she
That's
kind of
one
had
thing
a
about
little bit of a
that's really
villain
good.
turn a
There's
few
no-
years, just a few months ago. She had
Looks
like
like
a villain
Vincenzo's
turn.
having problems with his camera. He keeps dropping out. I'm not kicking him anybody. I just don't. I want everybody to know that. Let's just take care of a little of accounting. This is the link. I finally figured out after 5 years of streaming that I could pin more than one comment. So here we go. I'm going to pin
I
every.
like that. That's funny.
So here's the link. Open invite. You can come in and talk. Clobbering Time is an open invite show. I do a couple of open invite show. I like talking to people. I like talking to faces. And also, if you turn your camera on, it kind of reduces the shenanigans.
I kind of agree with that. I have to say, of all the rules that you have, John, that is the one rule that I feel like that's pretty important.
Some people come on and they start cursing or they just want to be argumentative, but you show your face, it keeps it. You can disagree. That's fine. The other thing is, let's try to keep it as family friendly as possible. Those are my two streaming rules. It's supposed to be about comic books.
Yeah, T-Bunny, you curse a lot. Forget that.
Yeah, but I'm watching you. I'm
all over you. I'm watching you.
And here's the other link: is my Christmas special. I'm redoing the dialogue and the lettering. To me, that's always the last step. The art is done. The coloring is done. Renzo is now back finishing up the Patriarch, and other projects are being completed as we speak. I'm kind of a little overextended. So one guy, I was like, "You want to do this?" We got all excited that I was like, "How about you don't do it? We'll wait for 2 more projects to be finished." And he was like, "I might be busy by then." I said, "Well, I'm sorry." And then I thought maybe this project would be better for him anyway. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But anyway, that's besides the point. So that's that. We got Ben Sabar, voice actor, and Lord Vincenzo, whose name I'm probably massacring.
Yeah, that's the guy that keeps trying to pop on. There he is.
Yep.
What's up, amigos?
Hey.
Hello.
Sorry for ruining your stream, you guys.
I didn't understand what you say.
I said I'm sorry for ruining your stream
It's okay.
because of my technical difficulties.
Okay, it's okay. T Bunny's mental difficulties aren't ruining our stream, so your technical difficulties aren't.
I'm on the stream. How good could the stream be? Come on.
Yeah. I may start talking to myself spontaneously, so just ignore me.
Oh, it was just another appropriate of nothing. There's the Morocco versus Scotland soccer game today.
Right.
And there's a big stadium right by. I'm working in one stadium, and there's a stadium right next to it. I'm working in a little conglomeration of like.
Well, way to basically reinforce those stereotypes, Scottish people, by drinking Boston
There's more
Dry.
than Irish people.
Yeah.
So they're having a stadium and they're having a watch party. So they have big screens up and you can go and watch. And walking down the street is these beautiful Moroccan women. I mean, they just look like movie stars. Got to give credit where credit is due. I've never seen an ugly Moroccan woman in real life. And they're just in these elegant dresses, and they're with these guys, and they got capes. They look like superheroes. They got these red capes with that Moroccan star on it and everything like that. So I'm just like, go Scotland! And they all look. They all look at me like
you're so bad.
They all look at me like, what? And then they nervously laugh. And I'm like, yay. I said, you guys are obviously Scottish. And then they realize I'm goofing on them. But I didn't.
It's so funny.
I was waiting to see like redheaded freckled guys walking down the street. But
Yeah, they literally drank Boston Dry.
good.
It's really ironic that all these foreign people, because of the, foreign, I don't mean that in a pejorative sense.
People from other countries.
They come to the games.
Yeah.
And the reports from these people like, what a wonderful country this is.
Right.
We were told it was evil. We were told it was
I
this
see.
and that, the other thing.
Yeah, I'm loving that on Twitter. All these people talking about Americans. You see these Japanese guys at gun ranges eating barbecue.
They've never had barbecue before. Meanwhile, the people living here are like, this place sucked. What's the matter?
Did you see the one where the Englishmen were trying to eat ribs? And
Yeah,
they're trying to do it with knife and fork, and the black guy's like, No, you gotta do it with your hands. You gotta do it with your hands.
And they're like, I'm sorry. You know, and I like what one of them said. I've never had meat so tender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bit into it, and his eyes just went like he'd seen God. I mean,
Me and my friends went down to a board game convention in Atlanta. We went like 2 years in a row, and we went to this barbecue place, and you know, it was just like we all like ordered something so that we could all share. So we got like sausages, ribs, everything like that.
Yeah.
And then the first time we went, we were the only people in the restaurant, so they were just like giving us extra stuff. The second year we went back expecting all that extra stuff, but the restaurant was packed, so they didn't really do. But oh my God, what we actually ordered and ate was so good. And then my favorite part is right by the hotel. Both years in a row, there's a Waffle House. I love Waffle House.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. There's a video of a Japanese
woman.
Not
a problem for us, huh?
There's a video of a Japanese woman eating at a Waffle House, and she.
Oh yeah.
We see lots of Waffle Houses, right, T-Bunny?
Yeah, we do. We see a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not in New York. The one in Atlanta, I walked in, and let's just say I was unique for some strange reason, and everybody stopped and they looked at me, and the host was charming. Oh my, she was just like a Southern Belle black woman. She was just so charming.
The better the Waffle House, the more stitches the waitress has.
The more what?
The better the Waffle House, the more stitches the waitress has.
More stitches.
But this woman
What do you mean?
sat me down at the table, and I ordered my food and everything like that. And I think my bill was like $18, and I gave her a $10 tip.
Oh, that's nice of you.
And the next, I didn't think of. I mean, $28. I mean, it would have been $28 just to sit down at any diner in New York. You know,
It's
and
true.
the amount of
That's
food
true.
that I ate, the attention that she gave me, filling up my coffee, giving me more bacon. You know, and then so I came in the next day, and she pointed to me, and the cooks, they all looked at me, and I got like escorted, sat down, and she said the saddest thing in the world to me, that I was one of the only tips she got that entire day.
Yeah.
I never been to Waffle House, but they are correct that America's awesome.
Oh, where do you live?
You're welcome to any Waffle House in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Where do you live,
concerned.
Vincenzo?
Mexico still.
Oh, you're a Mexican. I love Mexico. I was yesterday for overtime. I was working with Roman, who's Mexican, and I said, "Are you Mexican?" And he got like all defensive. And I was like, "Dude, man, I love Mexico." When I was a school teacher, I would have the summers off, and I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I wasn't married at the time, and my friends were all working. So it was just like, what do I do? It was like the Little Rascals, learn that poem. I'm just walking around by myself. So I got my car and I drove down, and I rented a car in Mexico, and I drove around Mexico. I just, I loved it. They're the friendliest
But
people.
the greatest pure artist I've ever seen is from Mexico.
Oh, I
Jose Garcia.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never seen anybody like
right,
him.
Jose Garcia, right? Yeah.
I've never seen anybody
I
do
think Mexico
the
had
speed
some problem.
that guy works. It's incredible.
Like when I read, like Renzo, every time he finishes a comic, I send him a box with like 10 copies, a T-shirt. He never gets them, you know. And he's
living in a communist country, practically.
And not only that, did you remember like maybe 3 months ago, there was like battles between the army and cartels in a town?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah,
Hell, I even live in a town that's 2 hours away from Guadalajara. And it felt
that's Renzo's town. He said he didn't come out of his house for 2 weeks. So he goes, I got a lot of art done.
Ducking bullets.
I can understand where Renzo's coming from.
So
But still,
you live. So is your neighborhood safe? I hope
it is safe. But I just live in a town that's 2 hours away from it. Though I'm also living in farmland.
Because I went up and down Baja California. You know, I drove out there, and that was like Hollywood, Mexico. You know, it was like palm trees and girls in bikinis. You know what I mean? It was awesome. People were so friendly.
Yeah, man. We have palm trees in other states like Jalisco.
Yeah, I love the food. I love the people. I love Mexicans.
Yep, although to be honest with you, I wasn't born in Mexico. I was born in the U.S. I only moved to Mexico when I was 12.
Oh,
I was
okay.
almost 13 in 2010.
Oh, okay.
If this is Hispanic, we got to get Stippling Vaughn in here.
I know. I put a picture of Vibe as the thumbnail.
I saw
as,
that.
as bait. That was bait to get Stippling Vaughn here.
I consider Vibe one of the lamest characters in history. You know.
Apologies for the noise, man.
Okay. So we got people here. I don't know how many people are going to show up because I keep changing the time of the show. I can't wait to get back to 7 o'clock, make everything back to normal. But like I said, I'm sure Vaughn Coleman told you, but he's always been inviting me to join him at these conventions. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he told that you got to get it so you split I found out the price of the tables. It's good for you guys to split. He splits the table.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do it for 2 reasons.
Table with him.
I want to do it for a few reasons. The obvious reason is let's split the cost. The second thing is, Vaughn's a fraction of my age, but he's Mr. Khan now. He could teach me a thing or two. And 3, I want 2 people. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. I'm an old man. You know what I mean? I don't.
Part of the reasons why I'm at the con, I do fill in for those guys while they go to the bathroom. I watch.
You know what I mean? I didn't buy triple extra large men's adult diapers.
No, they don't do that at the cons. Everybody goes to the bathroom. Todd McFarlane famously says he never went to the bathroom, but you know how uncomfortable that is at a con.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane. Yeah, he has a remarkable work ethic.
I mean, everybody went. These guys, you should have seen. Tucci was super busy. Everybody was busy, but it wasn't.
He is the Godfather. He probably bans the laws of reality around him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Did Billy say hello to me?
Yes, Billy did ask for you. Yeah, he always does.
Billy lives like 10 minutes away. We've hung out a few times. We went to bars.
Yeah, he said he did ask for you. You're right.
Good. Because I tried to get his son a job, and I called up Billy. I was like, they're hiring right now. You got to get your son to call right now. You got like a 3-day window. That's the way it works in my job. Is all of a sudden they'll just announce, and you got to call. And he's like, all right. And I was like, you got to do it. So like 3 days later, I was like, did you call? He goes, no, my son didn't call. Because the thing was, I told Billy, all right,
what is the extra noise?
What's that?
Somebody has extra noise.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, sorry, it's me. I'm sorry about that. Let me mute me.
It's not a big deal. I just wondered if I just wondered about it.
So I told Billy, I said, if I get your son a job, you owe me a cover. And he said, deal. So I've been pushing to get his son a job.
He draws. It's so fun to watch him draw at a con.
Yeah, he's like hanging out with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, we couldn't get Pedro Calciado here today. Pedro's hilarious.
Okay, so we've been talking for a half hour, and I don't know how long I could talk. I gotta wake up. At least I can wake up at 5 at this job instead of 4. So that's good. Get an extra hour sleep. But anyway, it's clobbering time. Last week we did Asian characters, and then somebody suggested, I forget who, let's do Latino characters. I was like, all right.
Oh, that was me.
Okay, so you said let's do Latino characters. So let's do Latino characters. And, we'll start with you since it was your idea, Vinzinzer.
Well, the Latino characters I like are El Chicano, which is from my film with the same name. It's not based on a comic book, but it's an original thing. So I kind of highly recommend it.
How do you say it? El
Chicano.
El Chicano, like a Chicano, like a half Mexican? Isn't that what Chicano means?
Yeah, yep. Well, Chicano's many things. Like a Chicano's also used for U.S.-born Mexicans and other things.
Is it a comic book character?
He's a movie character.
Oh, okay.
As for the other Latino character, well, Jaime Reyes, since I was first introduced to him in Batman Brave and the Bold, and I enjoyed that show, and I enjoyed Jaime.
Right. I remember getting Jaime's first comic. I got that comic.
Which comic?
The original Blue Beetle. I mean, the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. Yeah. One of the few comics I got at that time. I forget who did it.
when I was doing some research, I kept running into the fact that there's very few Hispanic characters that have like an original IP. Most of them are like Hispanic versions of a more known IP. So El Chicano, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, this is all I could find when I looked up El Chicano comic book character. Tony's here. I'm sure he'll tell us all about this character. Tony, do you know anything about this guy?
It pains me to say no that I don't. I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's funny.
Oh.
No, I was looking it up too, and my main, it's like, I don't think in the 60s there were too, like in comics themselves, Marvel, DC, well, especially DC, did not have any too many Hispanic characters. I know that George Perez created the White Tiger.
You know what?
Hector Ayala.
I forgot about him, and he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he created a White Tiger, I think, in the Kung Fu book magazine, Sons of Cat. I can remember.
Sons of Kung Fu, yes.
And then he ended up in Spider-Man, and then became a woman character. But that's what happens to all the characters. It wasn't before DEI.
Yeah.
And I know my friend did Firebird, the one that was in the West Coast Avengers. He drew a story with her, and so I always remember her. Juanita Juarez, I think.
Yeah.
They don't have that many, and not that many. Like Green Lantern, I guess, at DC. I think that was a retrofit, though.
Yeah, Kyle Rayner, they said he was like Hispanic on
his
his
father
side.
is Hispanic, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a retcon later.
I don't know. In New York, there's a lot of Irish Hispanic. You know what I mean? So when they said Kyle Rayner was half Hispanic, I was like, I'll buy that. And
Yeah.
To me, that wasn't so much as a retcon as it was adding something new to the character.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I meant.
And they said the same thing with Selena Kyle, Catwoman. That later on that she was half Hispanic, and I bought that too. Like that didn't seem like a change or anything. What's up, Tony?
They also said the same for Xavier, Professor Xavier. That he's from Spanish origin.
Yeah.
Now that one I gotta look up. Hold on a second.
You never heard that one? I heard that
I've not heard of that one.
Well, that's a Hispanic name. Xavier
right. To me, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But they said he was like Spanish. Spanish.
I understand that. That makes sense, but I know not
European
heard that.
Spanish, I think, is basically.
Lord Vincent sent the message. That's not the Chicano. I knew it wasn't. I just did it because it was the first comic book Chicano character.
Well, we got a couple that I can throw out.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Cool. The first one is Zorro, created back in 1919 by Johnston McCulley, for the Curse of Capistrano. He wrote about 36 of those, very well regarded. He's a classic. He supposedly influenced Bob Kane in Batman, but I think that was more of a shadow influence than a Zorro influence. But yeah, Don Diego de la Vega, El Zorro. The last good movie that he was in my opinion, was the Antonio Banderas one.
Yeah, I just watched that for the first time a couple of weeks ago with my wife, and I got to say, I loved it.
Yeah,
we rewatched all of those 90s pulp hero movies. You know, we watched that, The Phantom, Zorro.
I absolutely forgot Zorro.
You know, so, yeah, Zorro was going to be the one that I was going to talk about. So I'm glad to. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask?
Mm-hmm.
What is the actual definition of Latinos? Like, you know, I know that sounds like a silly question, but like, are Spanish people Latino, or is it like
I was thinking Spanish people from Spain or European?
Right.
Latino,
right.
Latin,
That's what I thought.
Central and South American.
Well, the problem with maybe Lloyd Binziker can help us with this, but the problem that I had when I worked with a lot of Hispanic and Latino Hispanic people in Portchester years ago, one girl came up to me and said, "They all don't get along," you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the Puerto Ricans called the Dominicans the dumb cans. You know, that's what she was telling me. I was starting laughing because it was really funny. But they don't.
All Asians
all act like they're all the same, and they're not.
The
They
Chinese,
absolutely,
the Japanese,
Dominicans
the
and
Koreans.
Puerto Ricans absolutely hate each
Can't
other.
stand each other. Yeah, it was really.
Hate.
It's something like that.
It's
We always
hatred.
that people don't really realize that not everybody. We move. It's like Asian, and we didn't talk about. You talked about that last week.
Well,
All
liberals like to
Asian
lump all of them
people don't
together,
get
but
along.
they're as distinctive as anybody.
Well,
you know?
I mean, look at the Irish. The Protestant Irish didn't like the Catholic Irish. The Scots didn't like, whatever. You go to Europe, the French and the Germans. You don't mix them. So I mean, yeah, the Hispanic is a large term, but like what is the definite? Like, are Brazilians Hispanic? Because
Hispanic
No, they're
that comes from like
Portuguese.
Hispaniola. That's like the original Spain.
But that's my question. Do you need to speak Spanish? Like, so are Brazilians?
Well, I knew a guy too. He was of Cuban descent, and he didn't feel like he was Hispanic. He felt he was Spanish, like from Spain, because most of the Cubans are from Spain. Now, it might be wrong, but this is what he told me. I'm no expert, but being in New York, we do see the melting.
And absolutely none of them are Latinx.
Yeah.
None of them.
I worked with the
Screw Latinx.
Yeah.
I worked with the guy, Domingo. And Domingo was from Dominican Republic, and he was just this like handsome guy. He was just a cool guy. And as a joke, I was just like, "So what was it like growing up in Haiti?" And he did not think it was funny. Like, he wanted to fight.
Oh man, you were lucky he's still talking to you.
I remember watching a video about how the Dominicans and the Haitians have an animosity against each other.
Right.
Yeah, neighbors. They're neighbors. Yeah.
They're on the same island, but Haiti is more French, and Dominican Republic is more Spanish. Yeah. Anyway, do we have a definitive answer? Like, I'm defaulted to Vincenzo and Tony.
I think Spanish speaking is pretty much the only criterion that
in comics.
Yeah. So
I believe Bonito is correct.
Yeah.
So Brazilians wouldn't be considered Hispanic.
No, but Latinos, yes, since given that Spanish and Latino are Latin-derived languages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Brazil they speak
Portuguese. Yeah.
So Italian is a Latin-derived. So Italian is Hispanic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
To me, it's always had to have been people from Central America, and South America.
But there was a time in this country where Italians were considered people of color.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Irish.
Well, to be honest, I think I'm going to give you Italians the chance to be considered Latinos.
Oh, really? We're Latinos now?
Well,
yeah, man. Given how Italian, Spanish,
okay,
and Portuguese are Latin-derived.
Thanks to the obsession with skin color, anybody that's brown is now considered Latino. Yeah, a certain shade of brown.
Well, I tan up in the summer,
Something like that. Since I remember following a lot of Latinos who are very passionate about their race and ethnicity and being obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Right. So Harold Berg says hello to Marcus. He says you were his pinup artist and you met some of his superwomen.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I met Podoro. Yeah.
So back to Zorro. I just wanted to clear up something that I myself was confused about. But back to Zorro. Zorro was he the character was he born in Spain and then went to like Southern California, or was he? I never read the books.
Good question. I never read him either. I don't know where he's born in. Maybe he could be born in Spain. Maybe he could be born in California.
I think he's basically, I think he was like upper crust. He's like
Tony knows. I know Tony.
Go ahead, Tony.
He's from California. He's from landed gentry, and essentially he is a Zorro means fox.
Right.
So he basically fights the evil Spanish occupiers, el alcalde, the governor, with a pistol, a rapier, and a bullwhip. He has a black horse called Tornado.
Right.
The Curse of Capistrano, I think he dies in that. So what Johnston McCulley did was what later on people like Matt Wagner did in comics, and what I'm trying to remember the author of Dr. Sin. But essentially the character dies in the first one, and then the stories go backward. So that's and they were very. John, if you can find them,
Good points, Acton. Sorry about that. As I'm trying to say, Acton is correct that French is a Latin-derived language too. So I really need to consider French Latinos too, because of how Latin-derived French is.
So now the question is, who's not Latino?
Well, they're all Romance languages, so they all have their basis in Latin.
They're similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the first Zorro book? The Curse of Capistrano?
1919. It was published in the All Story magazine, which was the same magazine that published Edgar Rice Burroughs. That's where John Carter of Mars and Tarzan debuted.
I think he's derived from Scarlet Pimpernel, is he not?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The first one, one of the first people, the first one to play him was Douglas Fairbanks, and then Tyrone Power. But the one that everyone remembers, certainly me, is the one from the 50s. I'm trying to remember that actor's name, the one that did it for Walt Disney.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. The dad from Lost in Space. That's what I think of whenever I think of Zorro. But Antonio Banderas did a great job. What I liked about that one was Anthony Hopkins played Diego de la Vega when he was too old, and he trained him as a successor. He ended up marrying his daughter. I don't really remember the second one too much. I know it was a letdown from the first, but it's a great character. He's classic character, public domain.
Yeah, he got cucked out to a female, his female love interest in the second movie. So,
but he's public.
Yeah.
Go on.
Speaking of Zorro, have you guys checked out the Sequoia Films show? The show that Sequoia Films made? I have. It's really good. Probably because this guy named Polly from the Latino Slant was covering it in the channel.
Oh, I did see that, but I remember an interview with Anthony Hopkins when they said, "So how did you feel playing Zorro?" And he's an actor, so who knows? But like he was like, "Yeah, I was Zorro." He goes, "I didn't realize at the time that I was Zorro in the movie because Antonio." But I don't buy that. That just seems like something like you say to be funny, but. I thought he was great. I thought that was a clever movie. It didn't get enough credit, and now I got to watch the sequel. I forgot that there was a sequel.
I've seen the sequel, and I admit I kind of enjoyed it.
The Alien books have come out with a new Zorro series with Howard Chaykin writing.
Yeah. I ordered number one.
And then Aaron Lopresti is going to be doing a modern version of Zorro, coming out in I think June.
Yeah, he's in public domain right now. Yeah.
It's not going to work. Like the Shadow, like Doc Savage, like Tarzan. He only works best in the time that he's set.
I agree.
Zorro is going to be idiotic. It's not going to work. It's like a new Shadow. There's
a bunch of characters that to me are locked in their time. Like you're not going to do Indiana Jones now. You know what I mean? They're not going to do a remake. And to me, I think James Bond works best as a Cold War spy. Like every James Bond movie should be set in the 60s. You know?
Well, the only one that you could probably move around is probably Phantom.
Well, the Phantom is built in as a legacy, you know.
Yeah.
I think the Phantom out of all the characters is the weakest, you know, out of all those pulp characters.
I love all those characters, you know.
I think Tarzan, you can't modernize Tarzan. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, Tarzan is a product of his time.
Every time somebody posts a character that's in the public domain from the 40s, or particularly from the 40s, I want to draw that character. It looks like so much fun, especially the silly costume. You know, like, oh, this costume makes no sense, but that's what it's the bee or something. You know,
what's somebody like Buck Rogers or
fine. You know, like something like that really appeals to me for some reason. I
just want to give a shout out to Matt Barry. He's in the
hey Matt,
he's in the chat. He's almost done with Rock and Roll Ninja 2. Can't wait for that.
Fantastic.
But the funny thing about Rock and Roll Ninja, my favorite thing about it was the art and specifically the cityscapes. You know, I was reading it and I was enjoying it, but there was a couple of panels where I just stopped and I took pictures of them and I put them on my Twitter if anybody wants to scroll back a couple of years. I was just like, these cityscapes. I said, only Frank Miller and Matt Barr did New York City this good. So check that out. I can't wait. I can't believe I didn't want to say anything bad about Richard C. Meyer while Matt's here. You know, what did I say? I said Matt. I said his name wrong again. I always say his name wrong.
Ah,
Okay, I can't pronounce it either.
Well,
Tony, I wanted to tell you this. I was working with a guy who was a big Zorro fan this was about 20 years ago, and in my mind he was Zorro. He was this handsome Mexican guy, and he was singing as he would play Mexican music, and he would dance every day. He was just happy to come to work. He said he was happy to go. He goes, yeah, I go home to my wife, we dance. Why can't I think of his name? Rodrigo or some cool name like that. So I was just like, oh, so you're Zorro. And I go, and your wife is Zora? And he goes, you don't say that about a Hispanic woman. I didn't, I was just being funny. So I was like, what is a Zora? And he wouldn't say it. After a couple of, it's slang for a prostitute, right?
No, God help you.
I don't know. When I saw it as a female fox, but
right. But a female fox, think about it. A Zora. He said it was an old-fashioned term for a prostitute.
Maybe it's probably a local colloquial.
it might be colloquial.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, I just insulted one of my favorite partners. But he knew I didn't know what I was talking about. It was like me and my friends when we were 18 years old, we went to Quebec because we wanted to drink. We were 18 years old, but every place else was 21.
21, yeah, I remember
New Orleans or Quebec. And since I lived in New York, it was closer to drive to Quebec. So we're in Quebec, and I'm like, oh, everybody speaks French here. We're going to look for a girl named Fifi. So we're drinking, and every girl we're talking to, we're like, hey, are you Fifi? And they would get all offended and walk away. We were there for 4 days. It was on the third day that we found out that was local slang for prostitute. Every girl that we were talking to, we were asking if they were a prostitute because we're stupid high school kids who just wanted. So that's one of John's traveling trips. Find out what the local word for prostitute is, learn it, and then don't say it.
Oh, I remember when they had the drinking wars, the ID wars. They went up to 19, and then went up to 20. Suddenly, I could go to any bar I wanted, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't go to any bar. And I did not want to go get fake. If people got fake ID, I go, well, I don't have any patience for a fake ID. So I didn't bother. And to this day, I really don't drink all that much.
Yeah.
I drink, but I don't drink a lot.
We ended up just going behind the local Warbounds where all the trucks pulled in.
Warbounds, I've heard Warbounds forever. You said Warbounds.
There was nobody there to bother, and we would literally have like 30 cars. We'd turn on our headlights and just drink down. I mean, cops are just like they're out of sight, out of mind. They ain't bothering anybody.
Yeah, they know. They just didn't care. Yeah.
That was real romantic.
Warbounds anymore, John.
Hit up the high school cheerleader.
The local Warbounds where I was.
That's what you do when you can't drink. Anyway, let's get back to Hispanic character.
Yes, sorry.
We talked about the White Tiger. We talked about Zorro. We talked about
Jimmy Reyes and Blue Beetle a little bit.
Oh, there's one. The Jimmy Reyes.
Well, the Jimmy Reyes Blue Beetle comic wasn't bad. It just wasn't really the Blue Beetle, but it was a good comic. Like when it started, it wasn't. I knew they would do. Miles Morales is a Hispanic, and he's black, and like he's everything. He's everything. Miles Morales.
Yep.
But he's one of the big ones now.
Tony.
El Diablo.
El Diablo was the TV version of Zorro.
Created by Bob Kanigher and Gray Morrow in 1971, All-Star Western #2, kind of a Zorro ripoff. Then you have El Águila. I don't know much about him, but I remember him in a copy of my Marvel Universe. Looked like a Zorro ripoff.
He fought Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah, there's not that.
I think issue around 65 or something.
There's not that much representation for Hispanic people in comics. They're either Zorro ripoffs, or they're kind of stereotypes, or they're essentially, characters that were white and then they were just replaced, like Miles Morales with Spider-Man, or Jaime Reyes with Blue Beetle, and the new Ghost Rider that drives an Impala, whose name I don't even know.
That replacement Ghost Rider. I remember him.
What do you guys think about that?
Tarantula
Robbie
was
Reyes. Robbie
Yeah.
Reyes.
We don't
Robbie.
have a lot of representation, unfortunately. But in Mexico, you got some good ones. You got El Santo, but
I
that's
love-
more of a wrestler that has
We're missing a big one.
Mexican culture. And then you have Kaliman, which is that's another good one. But that's Mexican comics. Try to remember.
But Caliban isn't Mexican. He's Indian.
Yeah, I know, but the comics came from Mexico.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of other things, but there's not that many to talk to. I mean, I guess I could Sunspot, but he's Brazilian.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot he was.
And then Richter.
What about Magma? Wasn't Magma Hispanic?
She's from Brazil too. Yeah, El Santo. The
I
coolest.
told you, Oscar, my colorist, sent me a box of Santo comics. Now, I speak un poco Spanish, a little tiny bit, enough to get you through America. I mean, New York City. But I was able to follow the story because the storytelling was so good. And then Oscar sent me links to YouTube channels, and I watched a bunch of Santos movies. I loved them. They were charming, and I got to say, I guess I'm, I can't help it. I'm a straight red-blooded American man who likes his steak, but the women in these movies were gorgeous. There's something about the Mexican actresses in the 60s that are the most beautiful women in the world. Oh my God. I love that like Mad Men aesthetic, like forget the hippies, the 60s, the hippies, you ruined it. The Mad Men, that Jackie Onassis time period in the 60s was the high point of the way women look. And Santos was like filmed in that. Oh man, so good. Yeah.
Bane
is Hispanic, correct?
Yeah, we're forgetting Bane, the biggest one, right? The most famous one in all the movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
By legendary writers and artists.
Rey Mysterio.
Graham Nolan. His baby.
Yep.
Well, he's too short to be Bane.
Well, Graham's the one that created him, so
Yeah, I know. Graham's not.
We lost Padidza. I hope everything's okay. He's been having problems with his camera and microphone.
Joe Jusko's big enough to be Bane.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a new friend of mine. Joe Jusko's my new friend.
So, go ahead, Tony.
Oh, I'm saying you have a lot of Latin American stuff like what Marcus mentioned, Magma, Sunspot, and that's honestly, unless somebody can contribute anything. Richter from X Factor. I think it was X Factor.
Yes,
was it X?
New Mutants and then X Factor. X Force.
Exactly.
New Mutants and X Force. Yeah.
I had mentioned Firebird earlier, Tony.
Yeah. So
West Coast Avengers.
Oh, how about the greatest Avenger who ever existed, Silver Talon?
Oh, Silver Talon. That's right. She was Hispanic. That was not one of George Perez's better.
It was Jarvis's like he sponsored a niece in Mexico or something like that.
Yeah.
She was terrible.
That was a triathlon. Was another one of his winners.
Well, Graham. I don't know if a lot of people probably don't know this, but Graham was inspired by Luchadores to create Bane.
Right.
I didn't. For all these years, I've stared at Bane, and it's like something niggling in the back of my head. I was like, I know that the mask, the whole mask thing. I was like, I know where I've seen that before, but I just couldn't put a finger on it. Then I saw an interview where he was like that when he went to create Bane, he decided to make him Latin American, but then he immediately went to Luchadores as for the costume, and it's like suddenly it's like click. You're like once you see it, it's like, oh my God, it's obvious now.
Yeah,
but it was a fake Latin American because there is no such what was it?
Well,
or something.
Yeah,
they made up the
Santa
city.
Prisca,
Right.
I think it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But I forgot about Bane. Yeah, you're right there. I think that's about it, though, right? Is that it?
Well, there's Vibe. I was hoping Stippling Vaughn would show up. That's his favorite
He's the
character.
biggest Vibe fan I've ever heard anybody like. Well, Vibe wasn't a Flash TV
He's
show.
the fan. He's the fan, right?
Yeah, he's
he
Vibes.
was the Flash TV
He's
show.
Vibes fan. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Because the funny thing about Vibe was he wasn't well liked when he first came out. If I'm sure if Stippling will, his ears are burning and he'll correct me, but he was viewed as like a token stereotype. You know, he showed up. He did the typical like, "Hey, how you doing, gringo?" Like he would say like one word in Spanish, and then he would break dance. You know what I mean? And then like, I'm surprised he didn't just have a taco in his hand, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they did that to Green Lantern that one time.
Yeah, he was very stereotypical, and then of course later on they gave him a personality, but he really was just everybody's favorite Latino, Speedy Gonzalez. Although I will say,
Magica Dispel.
What's that?
Magica Dispel from DuckTales or Uncle Scrooge.
I love DuckTales.
I will say Speedy Gonzalez is a great character, but you don't mess with Slowpoke Rodriguez. He'll shoot you.
Well, they have tried to cancel Speedy Gonzalez more than once, and the Latino community is like, you do not mess with Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I mean, they will absolutely not allow him to be canceled.
Yeah, just like I'm sure French people probably love Pepe Le Pew.
Well, you know, rich liberal white women are going to be offended on everybody's behalf and get things canceled. And they've tried to cancel Speedy Gonzalez, and all the Latinos are like, hell no, you are not canceling Speedy Gonzalez.
They tried to cancel Mario the Plumber, and us Italians were like, no, we like Mario.
They did try to cancel Mario the Plumber. That's true, actually.
Well, I mean, they've been very successful lately canceling stuff, you know. The Commanders. Are you kidding? Commanders doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, it's a singular. You can only have one commander, dadgummit. It drives me crazy every time I hear it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Washington Commanders, the NFL team used to be the Redskins.
Oh, the Redskins. The Redskins, and now they're the Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
they call them the Washington Commanders. You can only have one commander. I mean, it drives me crazy every time I see it.
Ra's al Ghul Hispanic?
I don't know.
Ra's al Ghul is Arabic.
Yeah, he's Arabic.
He's Arabic, okay.
Yeah.
The Carbon
By
San
the
Diego.
way, sorry for leaving it again, man.
I'm sorry?
The reason I'm having technical difficulties is because of how crappy Mexico's resources are, man. Sorry for going around about Mexico and Mexican resources, man, but it's true. Our resources are not that great. And all how Latinos need to have their cultures be challenged. Like, they deserve to be challenged.
Yeah.
Latinos need to admit that there are things that Latino culture is wrong with, is wrong at.
Well, I love Mexico. Problems.
Spider-Man 2029.
Yeah.
What's that?
Spider-Man 2029.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel O'Hara. Yeah, he's Irish.
And America Chavez, everyone's favorite character here on show.
You know, I will say that when she first debuted, she wasn't that bad. You know, when she first debuted, I thought her powers were silly, but she wasn't that bad. I kind of like the idea that
they hired a Hispanic advocate. Like
they hired a Hispanic retard.
Well, fair enough.
You know,
yeah.
Contrary to popular beliefs, minorities have retarded people too, and Marvel went out of their way to find the most disabled person to write. Because I have a thing. She what I liked about her was they drew her sexy. Like she had big thighs and she had a nice waist and everything. And then I liked the fact that she was super strong and fought, and she was like not too smart in like a charming way. She wanted to solve all her problems with the. I like the character. The whole punching through dimensions. I could have done without that. So I like the fact that she was like a Hispanic Captain America. You know what I mean? Like that's what she was. She was a tough guy. She was a brute, and I thought that was cool. And then they added all of this baggage. So she, like Richard C. Myers, as much as I have problems with him, he's absolutely right. She's not Hispanic. She's from a whole nother dimension. You know what I mean? They made her
with two mamas.
Yeah,
with two mamas.
They made that character to be like DEI representation, and then removed it. You know.
Tarantula.
What were you gonna say, Tony?
Tarantula from Spider-Man.
Yeah, Tarantula. Yep.
And Skin from Generation.
Oh, that's right. Skin. That's right. The most unfortunate power ever. I have 6 feet of extra skin. It's like really.
I remember getting those books, and I couldn't. Generation X, because Chris Pacello's terrific artist, but he really couldn't tell a story, and I couldn't make heads or tails of that book.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what M's power was actually, and then
M's power is she's
Sync
awesome.
has such power creep. You didn't know what the hell.
M's power is she's awesome and she's the best and she's the girl boss, and you shut your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, I was teasing Vaughn Coleman over the weekend that who created the girl boss in comics. Who can answer that question for
Chris
me?
Claremont.
Chris Claremont. And he's like, well, no. And he starts defending it. He goes, it's so obvious. You were talking about a couple of weeks ago where Storm suddenly became leader of X-Men when she didn't show any leadership abilities for the first 140 issues.
Personality.
Yeah.
And now she's the girl boss, and then she gets shaved head and
With
she's
the mohawk.
Yeah. Kitty Pryde is yelling at everybody. Yeah.
Eric, first off, Eric, it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while, so thank you for coming back. I get worried when I don't see, like, I keep saying War Dude.
You do worry.
My original guys, like,
I thought I was dead.
Okay. Like DC Miller. Has anybody heard from DC Miller?
No.
That guy okay? I want to know if you're okay, buddy. Just say I don't want to deal with comic book people anymore. You're crazy. And I totally get it. But just let me know that you're okay. So if anybody knows
it too, I don't want to deal with them either.
But anyway, Eric the Guapo says, is Starfire considered Hispanic? Was her look is based off a Brazilian model. No, it's based on a Puerto Rican model. That she has two inspirations. One was George Perez's first wife, which means that George Perez is one of the luckiest people in the world. And second was why can't I think of the woman's name? But she looks exactly like Starfire.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. Oh, what about, speaking of that, Starfire? What about that Crimson Plague character? Wasn't she Hispanic? Or Saxon Violence? Often George Perez creates a Hispanic character, a woman particularly. Did you ever get that book, Saxon Violence?
Yeah, it was almost okay.
Right. Well, but I'm saying, wasn't she Hispanic though?
Yes.
Okay. It was Peter David was writing it. It was a weird comic, huh?
Yeah.
It was a little bit like I don't really want to know that much about George Perez, what he does behind closed doors, but
yeah,
we found out.
Yeah, Saxon Violence. She was like a prostitute, porn star, and her photographer that go out to fight crime, and it was like
Fighting
it was
crime.
edgy at the time. I liked it at the time, but like I don't know.
I liked it at the time. I liked it because of George Perez's artwork.
Yeah,
but it wasn't one of the better ideas. What about that book that, speaking of which, Jerry Conway, the late Jerry Conway, and Jose Garcia, Cinder and Ash?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
No,
that
was she half Hispanic? Or no, I think she was Vietnamese. But
Iris, tell me that's not Starfire walking
that's
around.
Starfire, right?
That's why I always laugh when people say, "Oh, Starfire is black coded." Well, first off, she's an alien, so she's whatever you want her to be. She's from another planet.
What's her name?
Iris Charon.
Yeah, that's it. I remember.
Wait a minute. You're telling me Starfire was based on Elise Chacon?
Yeah, did I say her name wrong? I'm sure I did.
When I was growing up, she was everywhere.
Yeah, she was more Charo than Charo.
Oh, I loved Charo when I was a kid.
That's interesting. You learn something new every day.
Wow, something that I knew that Tony didn't know. I'm
the Whip from Flash Comics #1.
Okay.
I'm really digging here. There's not really enough to work with.
No.
And speaking of Tony's point about there's not a lot of representation with Latinos, well, I may not have any comment on it, but let's not forget about that Latinos don't provide a lot of variety and genre was, let's say, their movies and TV shows. All they mostly make are dramas and comedies, man. So not forget there's
You mean
those apologies,
telenovas?
man.
I'm
You mean
sorry.
like telenovas, right?
You keep dropping out, so I'm having a hard time following what you're saying. I don't mean to be mean, but
Oh, my bad, man. Like, I just brought up Tony's point about there's not a lot of representation in Latinos in comics anywhere else, but let's not forget that there's not a lot of variety of genre in Latino entertainment, man, because
That's interesting.
Latino entertainment mostly makes dramas and comedies. Nothing wrong with it, but I most likely grew up on American entertainment and Japanese Latino entertainment. And I know there's more than Latino.
Eric says I've withdrawn from the
I
comic.
can respect.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done, Vincenzo. I apologize.
And sorry, it's okay, it's okay. I'm almost done. But I can comics respect. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about technical malfunctions.
It's hard to follow you. You keep dropping out. So Eric says I've withdrawn from the comic scene almost completely. Even my local comic shop shut down.
Oh, really? I'm sorry about that.
What did Latino
You always put comic shop comics if you didn't buy.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Latin America from being worse, man? Like, when did it stop the poverty?
I'm sorry, man, but it's just difficult to follow you. So I just want to say, I totally with you, Eric. I stopped following a lot of comic book people. I pulled out of a lot of Discords, and I unsubbed to a bunch of YouTube channels and a couple of people on Twitter. I just stopped following because it's just even the big names in comic books, they don't talk about comic books anymore. And rather than just fight with them and engage with this nonsense,
It's even the mainstream though. It's not just like the online stuff. It's everybody. It's such a shame, right?
Right.
That's why when you go to something like that, you don't see any of that stuff at Heroes Con.
Right.
Like you just go and everybody's a comic. You can stop by and say hi to anybody. I stopped by Pat Olaf for a couple of minutes. I didn't stop to talk to him, just to make a joke or something.
That's why I want to start doing conventions and
you'll feel a little better. I mean, some of the conventions are not like as comic booky as they used to be, but like some of them are. And you start small, and don't worry about selling. You'll sell your comic because part of it is
Latino slant. Vincenzo was trying to get you to be on the channel. I watched a few of your videos. If this is an open invite, you're welcome to join us. Just turn on your camera. I like to talk to faces, and it's an open invite show. The invite link is pinned. So but I just want to say, tell me that's not Starfire.
Yeah, that's Starfire.
Look at that. That's Tony. How do you say her name? I know.
I'll be in my bunk.
You say proper pronunciation. Iris Chacon.
Iris.
She was una vedette. In other words, God, what's the name of that genre where it's like a stripper, but you don't really like lap dance? You just sort of sing and dance, sort of
Almost like
Burlesque.
Burlesque. Thank you. That's what she was. She was another one that was with her. I remember her she was hot. Her name was Olga Brisky, and she was like her, but she had the added talent of playing the violin very well. But yeah, I remember those two. They were always on Sábado Gigante, and they were on What was the show in Sunday? The one with God.
Sábado Gigante. Oh my God! You just made a memory pop into my head.
Yeah, there was a one on Sunday with the host was I'm trying to remember these shows. I ain't seen them in years.
But Sábado Gigante, my father, I had my own phone in the house because my father was tired of the phone being busy all the time. So so I got my own phone as a teenager. And so I'm sitting downstairs and the phone rings and I pick it up. It's my father. He goes, "Turn on channel 9 right now."
Oh, I think
it's Sábado Gigante, and it's just chicks in bikinis.
I remember that.
Tell me Mexico's not the greatest country in the world, and then he hangs up.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that now.
Yeah, you should, John, go on YouTube and look for her, and you could see her dance. And when she dances, every part of her body jiggles.
Think Salma Hayek from Dusk to Dawn.
Exactly.
That's where she got her
I
inspiration
enjoy that
from.
dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Again, sorry for leaving you guys.
There's a
Okay.
specific picture of her.
And ranting.
No problem.
There's a specific picture of her that I'm looking for that is Starfire. It is the actual inspiration that George Perez used for. Oh, is this it? Yeah. Well, this isn't it, but this is a variation. It must have been from the same.
Well, you know what we're forgetting, of course.
Who?
We're speaking of all superheroes, but we're not talking about the Hernandez brothers and Poinsettia and.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I can't really talk about my characters until they're
But
public.
the inspiration is all Love and Rockets,
Mhm.
and
Right,
there's
Penny-
nothing more Hispanic than Love and Rockets.
I can see it now. You didn't see it before.
Gee.
I can really see it now.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'll be right back.
yeah. She was the inspiration. George Perez said it. He said she said Starfire was a mix between this woman whose name I'm not going to pronounce in front of Tony, and his original wife. And once you see it, so I always laugh at people. To me, like, oh, Starfire is black coded. Well, that just shows me there's nothing wrong with being a newbie. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a newbie. Everybody's a newbie. But the thing that gets me is when you're a newbie and you're righteous about it. Oh my God!
Because of the they cast a black woman to play her in that one show,
That Teen Titans HBO series.
the Titans show, and that's the reason why they're dying on that hill now. Is they're trying to prop up that one casting.
And again,
choice.
there's nothing wrong with her, a black woman being cast as Starfire. But to me, you got to put the makeup on her so her skin tones are correct. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem with a black woman being cast as Death.
Except that she wasn't Starfire. She had absolutely no Starfire
Right.
qualities.
Yeah,
Starfire is a big, bubbly, lovable ray of sunshine that just happens to be
almost
able to
literally.
torch,
Yeah.
you know. And that's her personality. I mean, she's just a maternal. You know, she mothers everybody, and she's you know, never met somebody that she wouldn't call friend, and even villains.
I remember Masti Menos.
I don't remember these. I don't remember these characters. I get what was one big.
I
and one
remember
small?
them.
Masi Benos.
I remember Masti.
Yeah, Masti Menos.
Masti Nunes.
I'm
They're
guessing
speedsters.
there were speedsters.
Yep.
So
Yes,
what,
I watched the Teen Titans cartoon, and that cartoon was my childhood.
what does Masi Benos actually mean then? Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong.
More or less.
More and
That's-
less. More and
Okay,
less.
So to my mind, one should grow big and one should shrink like the atom.
Well, they
Well, actually,
they
they're
were-
speedsters.
but they had to like hold hands in order to do stuff. They were Titan Z's. I love that Teen Titans show. That was the best version of those.
That Teen Titans. I remember that. My kids watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie. Oh, I asked before. Nobody answered. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I
of
did. I
that?
told you it was Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, what did you think of that, Ghost Rider?
I don't know. He didn't make any impression on me. Now when Diego Luna played him like in the Shield show, I thought that was a real good version of him.
I didn't mind it because like the original Ghost Rider had a horse, the other one had a motorcycle. So I just figured like the writing part was like it adapted to the zeitgeist of the time. So it only made sense with the popularity of the Fast and Furious movies that the new incarnation of Ghost
I'm
Rider
sorry, Gabriel Luna, not Diego Luna.
would have a car.
It was a cool
Gabriel
car.
Luna. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Latino slang guy. That's the Latino slang I'm talking about. That's the Latino slang I'm talking about. The one who commented. That's the guy.
Yeah, I invited him on the channel. Come on in. I watched your channel before. I got a question. What happens if you're in the passenger seat of the Ghost Rider's fire car? Do you get burned up? You know what I mean? Like, is it?
That's a
permitted?
good question. That's a good question.
Well, people have written on the motorcycle Ghost Rider have been protected by the aura that's around the Ghost Rider on the motorcycle. So I'm assuming that's the same thing as the Charger.
Tony, you had your hand up?
Oh yeah, I don't like it whenever they take characters that were one race and change them to anything else in that, because I feel like I'm being pandered to. Make a new character, making like multi-minerals, like Bane, like America Chavez. You know.
But the problem with that, Tony, is they have to start from scratch.
Yes.
And they want the gravitas of the old character, you know, and they want you to like it. Like, oh, we want recognition. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. And you know, at one point nobody knew who Starfire was. Yeah, but that was 40 years ago. I don't want to wait 40 years.
Well, see, it's the now. CRT mindset, the critical race theory mindset that says that that we have to take away from the people who are oppressors and give it to the oppressed. And so, i.e., we've got to basically give them their version of this property over here, and it's like it's all pandering, and it's all like, okay, well, the poor Hispanics they're oppressed, and so we've got to lift them up to our level, you know, because they can't get there on their own. So
right.
what we'll do is we'll
insulting. It's insulting.
It's all
racism. Exactly. Exactly. It's so disrespectful and disgraceful.
Right. I totally agree. Now, I don't think any of us like I keep saying Obsidian from why can't I think of the name? The Infinity Incorporated. When he came out as gay, that was just accepted because he was a new character that didn't really have any establishment, and the few times that they showed him dating, it was really bad, and the girls were just like, there's something wrong with this guy. You know what I mean? So it kind of fit in naturally. Nobody got upset, but to take Green Lantern and make him gay is pandering.
The one that really pissed me off was Namor. That one really got under my skin because Namor was perfectly good the way he was.
Right.
But then decided, no, we're going to make him a bunch of underwater Aztec, Mesoamerican, Atlanteans, you know? Namor, no mames, way. Like, come on, dude. Don't get
the
off.
whole idea. And they're saying like the Aztecs, they're
exactly
really oppressive. But when the Aztecs,
they also took Atlantis into the MCU.
They were the Aztecs were oppressors. They weren't oppressor. They weren't oppressed.
No.
You know, I did.
Yeah, but you wonder why the Mexican independence was a Reconquista.
And in that comic strip about the Aztecs, the people, the warring, I don't know, it's complicated. But like I am drawing a father and a son getting beaten to death because that's part of the deal. It was the way, like it was just complicated.
Well, I mean, Grant Morrison, showing his ignorance, decided to name his character Aztec and thought that was going to fly. And then he's wondering why it wasn't a popular character. And it's like, well, that name has a lot of negative connotations attached to it, Grant.
In Grant Morrison's defense, when I was a kid, one of my V&V, one of my superhero characters was called Aztec, who had he was an Aztec with technological powers, and he was like a Jack Kirby Aztec. So I guess but I didn't know much of it. I was like 13 years old.
You we're going to give you a pass.
Grant Morrison's Aztec was a white guy, though. Remember, that was the worst of it. He was dressed in Mesoamerican armor, and he's a white dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the thing that really pissed me off about the Namor thing was, did you see they were still wearing the feathers under the water?
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's how feathers work. The fact that, I mean, they went out of their way to pander, but they ended up making a mockery out of not only the character but the culture.
And not only that, the guy was paunchy.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say
the guy who's walking around in a bathing suit for the whole freaking movie was paunchy. You know, you put Chris Helmsworth him up.
He didn't have no muscle tone at all. No.
Right.
Well, it's like the whole Redskin thing. Okay, this is like very indicative of this mindset in that they took Redskins away because they were offended by it on behalf of the Native Americans. but the face on the mascot of the Redskins was a chief of the I can't remember which Indian tribe it was, but
That's right. That's right.
It was literally his portrait, and they would come and they would do a blessing every time that they for the home opener. That there was a Indian tribe that would come and do a blessing for the Redskins, and a lot of Indians were Redskin fans. And yet this group of white liberal idiots decided, oh, we've got to protect the. But they basically found a few young people that had no perspective, and used their they're being offended by it to.
Oh, that's absolutely
basically,
correct.
And it's the same thing that they're doing with all these Hispanic
Well, my favorite joke is the Land O'Lakes Indian.
Yeah.
They got rid of the Indian and they kept the land.
They kept the land, yeah.
They got rid of Uncle Ben, remember? And Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah, Uncle Ben never bothered nobody.
Uncle Ben, Mrs. Butterworth. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, has anybody seen that crappy Blue Beetle movie? Damn, they go over there and start, oh, Batman is a rich white man colonizer. I'm like,
that's why I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either, admit that.
Movie.
Well, they're talking about tacos the whole entire movie.
Exactly. George Perez is the biggest stereotype I've ever seen. Like, hey, he's such a jackass. Yeah. I'm like, make your own friggin' character, DC. Don't take the Blue Beetle. Make something new. Make something different. Make something unique. And my last thing about Namor is what's really pissed me off. I watched that with my family, and then my dad turns to me and goes, "They made the Atlanteans wetbacks," and I'm like, "Yeah, let me go."
Oh wow!
Welcome to the club, Tony. And tell your dad, welcome to the club.
I want to say about Uncle Ben. I heard something that might be true, that he was the first black millionaire because of the rice.
Yeah.
Like him and Aunt Jemima, they took a lot of pride. They both took a lot of pride. They made a lot of money in appearances and lending their name.
Well, that's the reason why that's the real reason they got rid of those mascots. They did it to quote unquote because they were offended. Black people were offended, but then they didn't have to pay all these royalties to the people who were depicted, the families of the people that were depicted.
They were good business people.
Exactly. And but then they were able to couch it like, we're offended. All these people were offended, but they got rid of the Redskins because they wanted to get rid of Dan Snyder, the guy who
want to get rid of the owner so badly. I know.
And it was just like all the Indians were like, "You're not doing this on our behalf. You're erasing us." But and they're culturally erasing Indians from all across our culture. They're like the Cleveland Indians gone.
If somebody said, "Well, I don't want to have Chief Wahoo," all right, fine. I'll accept that. That's a cartoon version. Somebody might get upset. Fine. I don't think anybody was upset by Chief Wahoo.
Nobody was.
I'm a huge sports fan.
Well, when those generations are gone, when those generations forget that these mascots existed, they're going to erase the actual identity of the people that they were depicting. Like they tried to take out the Seminoles, and the Seminole Indians like, "Oh hell no!" Florida State. They wanted Florida State to change their name, and Florida the Seminoles were like, "We will kill you all if you take away our identity." But you see this over and over again, where they will take the identity of a group like the Latinos, and they were basically like, "Oh well, because you need representation, we're going to take this IP away from this, the oppressor class, the white people, and we're going to make, just whatever, Jaime Reyes, or we're going to make Robbie Reyes, or we're going to make, whoever, Jessica Cruz, I think her name is, make a new Green Lantern."
I can't get too crazy upset about Jessica Cruz because they diluted the Green Lantern so that it doesn't matter anymore. Why not make a lesbian midget Green Lantern? Who cares? my problem with the Green Lantern is like, how come all the there's 30 human Green Lanterns, but every other planet gets like, I'd like to go to a planet that those Band-Aid looking aliens. There's like 17 of those Band-Aid looking aliens. You know, like, why does Earth get so many? And to me,
why is there only one planet? Why is there only one Mogo? You know.
Yeah. Well, you know why? You know why though? Because in the '70s version of DEI, Neil Adams wanted to make a black Green Lantern.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I'm just, my point in Latino slant is that it's insulting. It's like saying that the Latino culture can't support a popular character on their own, so we've got to take away from the popularity of this character and swap him out because Latinos can't like create a character in their culture that's going to be as popular and it's going to be as marketable. And I think it's insulting. I'm insulted on your behalf. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you need that. I think, you know, I've got Latino character in my comic book universe.
I think that your comment tonight blew me away that they made Namor a wetback. It's so obvious.
I love it. I did not see that coming, but it's so obvious.
Now I can't think of it any other way, and now I'm at the point where I'm embarrassed for the studio.
Oh,
no, they didn't even know. Nobody read history when they made that.
My dad, this year-old comic fan, was so disgusted by that movie. He hasn't yet to watch another MCU film. He was pissed. He was like, they destroyed the character. They destroyed my culture. They're just, he said, and my dad was never one of these, you know, brown power Latino types. Right. But this is what a white man thinks of us. This is what white people think of us. They think that we're a bunch of bloodthirsty, noble savages, and they think that, you know, they have to give us things. They don't want us to, you know, and he went on and on. I was like, Dad, take it easy. It's a freaking movie.
Dad, take it easy.
Right.
You know,
that's like my father wouldn't watch any gangster movies.
My wife doesn't like them.
He was like, The Godfather's enough because they made The Godfather, that was good, but like I remember The Sopranos, he was just like, I'm not watching the show. Like
John, my wife's the same. My wife's the same way.
I absolutely hate any redneck depiction in Hollywood.
Yeah,
I absolutely despise.
Well, it's really close to the truth.
You know, a white guy from New York who is, I've only encountered Native Americans, Indians, whatever you want to say, when I lived in Albuquerque and, you know, next to Tony. My pet peeve is any American Indian character has to be mystical and magical. It is. I just think that is just so freaking.
Alpha Flight. Oh no, that was Native American character. Yeah, he's mystical. You're right.
Shaman to me is an exception because that's the whole purpose of the character, that he's a shaman. But like every Indian character from like, you know, like I just finished up Resident Alien, a series that I liked a lot, but there's two Native.
I think we got a comment from Polly.
What's that?
Like, Polly, you're welcome to come in.
Yeah, come in, Polly. In Resident Alien, they had two Native American characters, and they both had mystical powers so good that they could overpower the psionic powers of the alien. You know what I mean? It was just like.
I'm going to go ahead and take off. You let him come on the, you know.
Okay. See you, buddy.
I see you guys.
White people, black people, Wakanda forever.
He was so pissed off. He was like, the next thing you're going to tell me, the next movie, they're going to give Namor a lowrider. It's going to be a lowrider, and under the water, they're all going to eat fish tacos. I'm like, Dad, you're taking this a little bit too far, man. You know, it's just take it easy.
Marvel retconned Atlantis into a Mayan civilization, stuck into the name of the century. Yeah, so why didn't they just call him Quetzalcoatl and make a new character?
You know, it's funny because Namor's depiction from almost the beginning when Bill ever created him was basically looked Asian.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I told John. The best way to have made that movie would have been go to Korea, make all the Atlanteans Koreans. Go get a.
They could have done that because
I know I'm going to catch hell for this, but to me, they should have got Johnny Depp to tote him up in the muscular to him to play Namor.
He's too old.
I know.
You need
He's old
to-
now, but
Yeah, but back in the 40s, the way Bill Everett would draw all of the Atlanteans, they all had Asiatic features.
right.
So they did. There was sort of like a apparel taste to Namor.
Yeah, I just think they had a really, first off, just stick to the bit, commit to the bit. You want to have Namor, but if you want to have a Hispanic character, how hard is it to make one? Let's be realistic.
Apparently, pretty difficult.
Well, pretty difficult for creatively bankrupt people. They could have just made up a Hispanic character, and just by the fact of putting him in MCU movie, they would have made him an A-list character. You know, like what's her name? Shuri. Nobody cared about this character, you know, and now she's a popular character. Or the Mila Deloge, you know, they were minor characters in the Christopher Priest run, and now everybody and their grandmother knows them. Hell, Iron Man was a C-list character until the movie came out. So make Quetzalcoatl as whatever the character, and then Marvel will insert him into the continuity of the comic. You know, but they're creatively bankrupt, and they wanted the gravitas of Namor. So you know,
But the gravitas at Namor is that he's a big, huge guy with massive muscles, and he can wear, and he gets away with wearing a Speedo, and nobody looks at him twice because he looks so good. Not some soft dad bod guy.
Oh, go ahead.
the funny thing is when I saw him, I was like, I'm gonna have a hard time believing that Sue Storm is gonna be attracted to him. And then I look at Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, maybe she's tired of this guy.
Yeah, well, good lucky Bob.
Yeah, the original White Tiger was Hector Alvarez or something like that, Hector Alonso or something. And then they turned him into a Latino woman. He talk about a character that just got a bad rep. He got
Hector Ayala.
Hector Ayala. I love that character. And then Michael Bendis had him commit suicide by cop. That's how they got rid of him.
Wasn't she a woman in the Daredevil series?
Yeah, because they wanted to make him a woman, so they had him commit suicide by cop. What a disrespectful way to get rid of one of Marvel's original Latino characters.
Is 1975 is one of the most original Latino characters.
Yep.
A George Perez, Bill Mantlo character.
Yep. Yeah, they fought. I'm sorry, but these names, Mayan names. It's one of the reasons why I don't know Mayan mythological too well. Hector Alva. Okay, I was saying it wrong. Yeah, terrible ending. Yeah, her niece picked up the amulets that bestowed upon the power. Now, I don't have if your powers come from an item, I really have a hard time arguing that somebody else can get these items, and that someone else can be anybody. But the way they got rid of the White Tiger, I thought was just so disrespectful. You know, and they killed him in what was it, Alias? Like, you know, the Jessica Jones comic that nobody read. Yeah, I didn't like it. So I gotta say, like, out of all the nationalities, ethnicities, I think the Latinos got like the worst hand in comics.
I think I was thinking the same exact thing. Not that, to be honest with you.
There are a bunch of them in Marvel, usually connected to the mutant team books. But yeah, you're right, John. We don't have much representation outside of Zorro. Everybody knows Zorro. Zorro's great, but other than Zorro, not really, no. And then you have things like Bane. And one of my problems, you know that I don't like Bane. One of my problems with Bane that I absolutely love, I don't know if it was Chuck that came up with this or Graham Nolan, but it's like, okay, we're going to get a Latin American bad guy. What's going to be his costume? I know, we'll make him into a luchador.
Oh, that was Graham.
No, make something cool. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I couldn't take him seriously. He looked like Mean Muska. He looked like
that was Graham, by the way. It wasn't Chuck.
Oh my God. And then
Chuck Dixon, you know, because comic books have a history of making up fake nations. Mm-hmm. So Chuck Dixon made up Santa Prisca, and he had it in a few comics. So when they made up Bane, he was like, okay, he's going to come from this fictional City. So to me, I'll cut slack on that. Not because it's Chuck Dixon, but it's just a comic book thing to make up. Like, does anybody care that Dr. Doom's from a fake nation? You know what I mean? So that,
And
whatever.
DC characters are all from fake cities anyway, for the most part, except for the Teen Titans, right?
So what are we going to do next week?
So we already did. I mean, I figure we'll stick with the races for all. We did Asian, we did Latino. So do we want to do black characters, or do we want to do?
Remember with earlier?
Oh, we did black.
That's what we started out with, black characters. Yeah.
What about did Asian? What about European? I don't know. Yeah.
European, but not American.
Yeah.
And we're going to count the French as European, by the way, and the Spanish as well.
Okay. Well, how about we'll do European comic book characters, but they're based in Europe.
Okay.
So we're not going to say Batman because he's of Scottish descent or something like that, So keep in mind, we'll try to talk about characters that haven't really gotten a lot of spotlight.
Yeah, like based in Europe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I used to drink a lot of cans of Fanta Fresca, and I never got Bane powers. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Grant, but I never liked Bane either. I just thought it was a lousy costume.
It's a lousy gimmick. I love Chuck Dixon, but he took so much from Doc Savage, because that's essentially his evil Latin American Doc Savage dressed up like a luchador. And
that's exactly what Chuck says he is too.
What you did before this, John?
He just run away from him.
He didn't deserve the right to beat Batman. He was a carpetbagger. He was nothing. He was the Johnny Come Lately, Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face, the Joker. Hell, even the Catwoman, the Riddler. Somebody that put in the time to be a real good villain to him, not some Johnny Come Lately off the street. I thought that was lame. I thought that was a low blow. That and the fact that he had to resort to cheating in order to win. He was a cheater. He cheated. Now you would probably say, well, that shows you how smart he is. Yeah, I guess you have to be smart to cheat and get away with it. But
what do you mean? The drug was a cheat?
Don't you remember? Not only the drug, he made Batman sick. Remember, he took him out when Batman had the flu.
Okay.
Remember, he busted out all the criminals out of Blackgate. He busted out the criminals out of Arkham. And Batman was by himself that day. He was working 24/7 in the rain. He got sick. By the time he was back in the cave, he was like coughing. He was running a fever. And then the son of a bitch came out of the shadow.
Oh, yeah, not only that. He waited until Batman tried to put everybody back into Arkham. He was all beat up. Yeah.
Exactly. He was a cheat. He cheated.
Well, also, like I said, I never liked Bane. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Graham. But in their defense, Chuck and Graham only imagined him as a one-shot villain for the purposes of that story. They didn't think he was going to have legs.
No, I have to disagree with you, John. I've heard him talk. He calls him a oh shit villain. Chuck, God bless him. I love the guy. But he actually has the brass cojones to actually compare Bane to Dr. Doom, to the Joker.
He doesn't like the Joker. Chuck doesn't like the Joker.
He puts him up there. It's like an oh shit villain is a villain that shows up and oh shit, things are serious.
I just thought, like, if you want to make a luchador character, commit to the bit and make him a luchador character.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that Bane, I don't know, I just thought the costume, sometimes I can't get past the costume. Sometimes I can't get past the name, but I think Bane should have had a more Latino, like what would be a good translation of Bane?
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? What's that?
Good question. I think Paul can answer that.
So, Latino slant, Paul. How would you translate Bane into a Spanish word? That should be his name. You know what I mean? Why would a guy from South America have an English word as his name?
The only time the character was ever good for me was when he was played by Tom Hardy. That was the only time that character was ever interesting. I liked his gimmick. I liked his look.
I hated that mask. I hated that mask. Oh my god.
It was different. It was better than, Luchador Man. It just but then again, before everyone gets mad, I don't like Doomsday either. And
Doomsday sucks.
Was another character of that thing that was engineered to take out.
I love how you said that. That was great.
Doomsday has a power that nobody talks about. Doomsday's power is the ability to make Kryptonians stupid and forget that they have powers. Because Superman should have defeated. Once Superman realized that Doomsday couldn't fly, the fight's over. You fly into space. Why would you fight that guy in Metropolis? You pick him up. You move to Tony's neighborhood out there in the desert. You fight there. You fight on the moon. You fight in space, and you just keep punching him or whatever, heat visioning him until he breaks contact, and then you just fly away. Because Doomsday can't fly. That's it. Fight's over. The fact that he killed Superman just shows you it was editorial fiat. Now, if you want to make a villain powerful enough to kill Superman, you got to think, how can this guy? One of the things you got to do. Okay, he has magic powers. He has kryptonite rays. Or if he's as powerful as Superman, he needs to fly like Superman. And as far as I know, Doomsday can't fly. Fight's over. That's why Superman beats the Hulk. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Superman beats the Hulk. Tony?
That's how, I don't know if you guys ever watched that last Superman show on the CW. Did you guys watch that one? Superman and Lois? That's how he beats Doomsday at the end. They have a fight, and he just takes him up there, and he wins.
Right.
Like what you said, but in that stupid TV, in the comics, I remember the fight alone must have killed at least 5 million people. It decimated Metropolis.
Right.
It was stupid, but then to get back to it, like Bane, Doomsday was one of those Deus Ex Machina characters that were created by the editorial team to take out these two pillars of DC, and that's that's the reason why I don't like either of them. I think Bane is a stupid character. I hate to say this, a stupid stereotype character that is really a dumb kid. He's two-dimensional. I'm sorry.
But I'll go even farther with Bane. He's not even a stereotype character because he doesn't commit to the bit enough to be like. If Bane was a stereotype character, he would be a luchador. He would have a Spanish name, and he would be, but like he's half-assed. You know what I mean? I don't
know if you've noticed it, John. Every time they put him in video games, every time they put him in animation, he always is a big stupid thing that has a really bad Latin American accent. It's like the only time that character was ever smart and capable and dangerous was Tom Hardy. And I know that Jeff Dixon hates that for whatever reason, but
I'm going to do something wrong right now. I'm going to ask Rock for a Spanish version name of Bane.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say Chuck does not consider Doomsday stupid. And when people write him as that, he drives him nuts. He does think he's exceedingly intelligent.
Oh, Doomsday or Bane?
Bane, I'm sorry, Bane. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Don't talk. Give me a Spanish version of the name Bane for a supervillain, but I want it to be a Spanish version.
Es el azote. Suena fuerte, misterioso y tiene ese toque español perfecto. Azote significa plaga o flagelo.
Okay, I gotta stop you there. I don't speak Spanish. I just want you to give me a name of Bane in Spanish, but tell me in English because I'm a gringo.
Got it. Sorry about that. The Spanish version of Bane's name is el azote. It means the scourge or the plague. Super fitting for a villain. Want me to tweet it or come up with a few?
There you go. Sorry, Chuck. I got to make a villain called El Azote someday and make him better than Bane. Right? Why would like?
You might want to invite Latino Slam to help you write that character.
Sure. Latino Slant. I don't know if this is the first time you've ever watched my channel. I've watched your channel a few times. I think on the recommendation of Vincent. But
I'm arguing with Grok now, by the way.
I'm working with Oscar Correndo, my colorist. He's Mexican, and I wanted to do a luchador-based character. I love it. I think it's a fun culture that I admit that I don't know much about it. So I was talking to Oscar, and I went with him. This is how stupid I am. I went with him with my idea of a luchador character called El Santo, and he started laughing. He goes, "What are you kidding me? That's only the most popular luchador superhero character in the world." And I was like, "Well, I didn't know." So he's just like, "Stick to American comic." But but I'm glad I talked to him because through back and forth, I came up with an idea that I'm keeping secret right now. I pitched it to Chuck Dixon. He loved it and said, "I don't need another vigilante character idea." And that ended up working with doing a story with Chuck Dixon, a science fiction story, which I got to ask him about the progress. I haven't heard from him in 2 weeks. But anyway, I like I said before, there's nothing wrong with newbies. It's when you become self-righteous and you're newbie. And like I admit that I don't know enough about luchadors to write a luchador character, but it doesn't mean I don't like him. And I don't think it's disrespectful me to do research and find out about it. You know what I mean? But El Luchador versus Las Mummies is that? Oh, the Mummies. That's Oscar's favorite one. Have you seen the Bane design from the Batman animated show? He's like a Red Hulk. I don't know.
Yeah. That was an interesting one too. I forgot about that. That they did make Bane interesting in that show. They did.
I've been watching the Justice League on Tubi. I'm gonna watch
that's awesome.
and the Justice League, and I'm watching and go, why is Superman so weak in this show? Superman is so weak, and I mean, he's weaker than I've ever seen. He gets knocked out by anything in this show. They tried very hard to make Wonder Woman a character, and Green Lantern is an a-hole.
What does El Gripe mean? Tony or
The flu.
El Gripe,
The flu.
the cold.
Oh, the flu.
The cold.
Okay, I didn't know what that meant. Okay, that because it sounds like a cool villain, El Gripe, but I thought it was some sort of like physical thing with the flu. That could be terrifying. Well, the flu probably killed more people in the history of the world. If Batman is on Tubi. So, I don't know. Let's have a consensus then. Can we all agree that the greatest Hispanic character is Zorro?
Yep.
Has to be. There's not enough Hispanic characters, which is a shame.
I think Zorro.
Yeah.
I've always loved Zorro. Because growing up, with sword fight movies and stuff like that. So I didn't care that he was Mexican. I didn't care if he was Chinese. I just cared that he was a cool guy fighting people with swords.
The key to the novels that Johnston McCulley did is he just emphasized the action, the adventure, the SWAT. Each novel was written like the Three Musketeers, and there was very little. There was politics in there, of course, but it was an emphasis on action. That's why the character took off the way it did. And like I don't know about everyone else here, but my favorite version again was the Disney version, one with the dad from Lost in Space, who's for whatever reason I keep forgetting his name.
Latino Slant says that Zorro's based off a real person, Moreta. I got to look that up.
Morieta.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah.
Who is this person? I don't know anything about this.
You want to go ahead, sir? Or I don't want to step on your toes.
Vincenzo, you want to tell us? Or...
Joaquin Murrieta. Sorry, man. Oh yeah, Joaquin Murrieta is this outlaw who used to fight in the Mexican American War before becoming an outlaw.
Okay, I gotta look this up.
If you watch this Zorro film, the bad guy's got his severed head in a jar full of honey, I believe, to preserve it.
Yeah. Harold Berg missed when I talked about that. Don't call any character Zora. It's insulting. A female fox is a whore. Yeah, that's why we went with Silver Fox instead. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta go, guys. It was fun.
Hey, thanks, Lord.
Then buena noche.
Thanks. So everyone your channel.
Yeah. This is an open invite channel. Clobbering time. The more people who show up, it's good. And check out the female Zora TV series from 2003, The Swords. I didn't know there was one. I didn't know there was one.
Well, that makes sense because that's around the time of Xena the Warrior Princess and stuff. They were making all those type of shows.
Ron, do you remember in the '90s when Topps had the license? I don't remember
Lady Rawhide.
Yes, those covers. God, I adored those covers.
Adam Hughes covers, yeah, and Joe Linzer.
Thank you, Marcus. See, you remembered her name. You know what I was talking about.
I know. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, So I think we all agree that Zorro is the greatest Hispanic character. And Marcus, were you pro Bane or anti Bane?
I don't mind Bane. It's fine. I mean, I think Chuck makes Bane not use Joker so much. He hates Joker. So, we don't like Bane, but Bane is lasting. It's like the last big villain that's been created.
He is.
It is what it is.
Whether you like him or not, you got to admit that he earned a place in Batman's rogue gallery. I just don't like him. But this must be why Chuck and I get along, because I didn't know he hated the Joker. I hate the Joker.
He hates the Joker.
Oh my God, the Joker! Like to the point when I was collecting Batman, if the Joker was in the issue, I'm like, I gotta get it because I'm collecting the comics. But I
as much as Chuck, and I respect the man. I like his runs on other characters better. For me, the last great villain created for Batman in the '90s was Anarchy. Does anybody here remember Anarchy?
I was just talking about.
I remember him. Yeah, in Bride Falco's room. I forgot who wrote it. Alan Grant.
That was Alan Grant's character. He was one of the sweetheart deals that Alan Grant died, and the character hasn't been used since.
Exactly, and the ventriloquist and Mr. Zaz.
Those are good. Yeah, I remember the ventriloquist was a really good character. I bought a lot of those Batmans at that time. And then he dropped out of Batman. Like
he's
I have
not
a whole
great villain, but I kind of like Professor Pig. That Morrison character. He's got the pig mask and the chainsaw. I don't know. Like I like it when Batman's villains kind of gear towards horror.
I never read the Grant Morrison run too much, and that's Grant Morrison. So you would know more about that character than I, obviously.
And for the longest time, I didn't like Ra's al Ghul. And I don't want to tell you why I like it because I want to do an homage character, but I've become fascinated with the character. I love the concept of the Lazarus Pit, but I think that needs to be explored because otherwise it's going to become one of those get out of jail free cards. Oh, we just throw Barbara Gordon in the Lazarus Pit. We throw this guy.
I think you can't really go in the Lazarus Pit because it makes you insane.
John, the last story, the last big story that Denny O'Neil wrote for Batman was a graphic novel, prestige graphic novel with Norm Brayfogle, where they did the origin of the Lazarus Pits and Ra's al Ghul. It's called Birth of the Demon.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
You really should. I
did want to say one thing about Ra's al Ghul that I really liked, and Tony wasn't here, and I showed it earlier. It's a Batman. I have an idea for a Batman sketch cover. I buy sketch covers at Heroes Con, and it's Batman 244.
Oh, nice.
What I like about this is, and I love this. This is my favorite Batman logo, by the way. This one. Of all the different logos he had. But what I liked about Ra's al Ghul is that it took Batman into like a James Bondish territory where he went international to get this guy. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I like the character. The characters can be a little, they could do different things. They don't always have to be, he could go be James Bond. He could be in a mystery, not necessarily science fiction because that takes it too far away. But you can do different things with him and Batman's human, even though he looks like Neil Adams drew him, he looks like a superhero. He gets knocked on the head in this and captured by Ra's al Ghul. He can't beat Ra's al Ghul, after the Lazarus Pit, that type of thing.
I'm also going to say something now controversial, but now that time has passed, I don't like the Nolan Batman movies.
Neither do I.
I like the first one up until Bale put on the Batman uniform. I liked him traveling the world and training and all that stuff. And then I don't know, but I didn't like Ra's al Ghul. I hated Bane in those movies, and
my problem with those Nolan Batmans, and you guys can go and watch them. He can't fight. The fight scenes suck in those movies. They're slow. He cannot fight. Batman's supposed to be fluid. He can't fight. The fight scenes suck in those movies. They're slow. He cannot. But Batman's supposed to be fluid. He's Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and spandex. He's in, he's out, he's gone. Christian Bale is sluggish, man. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that he can't see out of the mask or he can't hear properly or the spandex is sort of weighing him down, but he can't fight. Like Michael Keaton could move better in that suit than Christian Bale could. That's my main problem with those Batman films. He sucks as a fighter.
Yeah, Punchline is the most recent Batman villain of any kind. Unfortunately, Punchline came out after I quit DC, so I don't really know much about it.
I don't know her.
He's here. How you doing? Has it ever been state? Oh, I think okay. How many times in the Lazarus Pit before you see? That's what I talked about this in excruciating detail before, so I'll just paraphrase it. But to my way of thinking, when you die, your soul leaves the body. And when you get resurrected, it's almost like you're born without a soul and you need to regenerate a soul. And the way I'm thinking, like the soul is almost like a force field that keeps you. This is just my metaphysics from my world. The soul is like one of the things that protects you from outside demonic forces. So like Ra's al Ghul, if he's resurrected like 40 times, like is that guy like have demons in his head whispering things? Like how much of his metaphysical part of his mind is still human? So
if I'm remembering correctly, again, this is pre-crisis continuity, but the Lazarus Pit, each Lazarus Pit can only be used once.
Right.
If you try to use it again, you'll die. The poison will kill you.
Right.
So,
I do like that. That I think like half the resources of Ra's al Ghul should be finding new places. Like it has to be some sort of mystical place that they dig, and then the Lazarus Pit almost has to percolate for like 10, 15 years before it's even ready to be used. Like there needs to be some sort of difficulty. Otherwise, just coming back from the dead is just too much of a get out of jail free card. You know, like I could see like another villain, like Bane. Okay, Bane is supposed to be a master strategist, and let's just say that there's a turf war between Bane and Ra's al Ghul. I could see Bane destroying all the Lazarus pits, researching and find out where the new Lazarus pits would be, and like having like fortifications built there. And now Ra's al Ghul is trapped in his only remaining body, so therefore he gets a little bit more cautious and maybe scared and rattled. Like that's I know that you use things like that. I don't know. I said I never wanted to write Batman. Now I'm coming up with a lot of cool Batman plots.
That's cool.
Yeah, and one of the things Chuck Dixon said about the Joker almost made me like the Joker is that he says he doesn't like when people try to explain it. Like he says the idea of the three Jokers is the stupidest idea ever. He goes, the Joker wakes up every day and reinvents himself. He goes, so every iteration of the Joker is legit because the Joker is chaos.
Grant Morrison came up with that in Arkham Asylum. He's the one. And it does make sense because that would explain the Cesar Romero Joker. Right. That would explain the Mark Hamill Joker. That would explain all the different Jokers. They're just new people every day. So yeah, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah, like there you go. You're overthinking because Jeff Johns, like to me, he came up with the best origin of Power Girl. Like they tried for 15 years to explain Power Girl, and he just said, "Yeah, she's the last survivor from another dimension." Bingo.
That's what I always thought she was.
Right. Bingo. She's not an Atlantean. She's not into this. She's not that. She's the last survivor. So she's the last survivor of Krypton from a multiverse. I thought that was brilliant. Hawkman. They're all true. Like I look at Hawkman as like he has a soul, and it's almost like a ball of water. And this nth metal kind of scattered that ball of water through time, dimension, space. So everybody has a bit of the Hawkman soul, and every once in a while, like this one's more powerful because he's got more of the original soul that was contaminated. You know what I mean? You don't have to make it complicated. Just it's metaphysics.
I would like to answer that question.
Oh yeah,
they're both overrated, both of them. Absolutely. If you're gonna create, and this is my thing, guys. If you're gonna create a villain is only as good as the hero that he's fighting. If you're gonna create a villain that's gonna meant to cripple and incapacitate or even kill the hero. It needs to be a villain that you've either been building up slowly to over the course of a long time, or you have to use one of the original villains. Otherwise, it's a cheat. It's like Batman getting taken out by a stray bullet, or it doesn't. It's a cheat.
I agree with you. Like, I'll say 80%. Like, first off, I think I always said this, but not to Chuck Dixon's face, that I thought Bane was a Mary Sue. He's the most powerful, he's the smartest, and I hate the costume, so I never liked the character. I'm sorry, Chuck, if you're watching this, but I like if you want to make. Okay, so you make your new villain. So Tony Grigo is now writing the Flash, and you want to take out the Flash. So you make a bad guy, and he beats the Flash. I get what you're saying. You don't have the right to beat the Flash unless your character's really cool.
You have to earn it. There's only one time I've ever seen that situation work, and that was the Final Solution Sherlock Holmes, where Arthur Conan Doyle wanted to stop the franchise. He wanted to stop it. So he decided to create Professor Moriarty, the greatest ever, to beat him. But the thing of it is, Arthur Conan Doyle was a genius at writing, so he was able to pull it off. But because everyone forgets, Professor Moriarty ever appeared in one story, only one. And he was alluded to later to have been like the cause between a bunch of his other cases, but he only appeared physically in one.
Well, in my defense, it's just like, okay, so the Fantastic Four are chugging along, they're beating everybody, they're the greatest super team at the time, and then Galactus shows up. Galactus has the right to beat the Fantastic Four. The whole concept of, just because he's a new villain doesn't mean he gets punked. But the concept of Galactus was worthy of that. The concept itself intrinsically came with gravitas, if that makes sense.
Because Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were able to create some of the greatest trilogy of 3 issues consecutive, building up Galactus and the Surfer as these huge things, huger than Dr. Doom, huger than anybody else, because they were that good. Again,
even Dr. Doom in the first appearance of Dr. Doom was a cool enough character that he kind of beat them, but then
yeah. But it all depends on the character and the people that are writing.
Right.
And
but what I hate is now you have Spider-Man or you have the Fantastic Four, and you created your new cool villain that is just so damn super cool that you're gonna beat the whatever, or you make up your, even worse, you make up your new superhero guy. So Tony makes I don't know, Quetzalcoatl, and then Quetzalcoatl gets to punk out Superman.
It's like the blue Marvel. It's like and it's like Bane, it's like Doomsday. Why does Doomsday beat Superman? Because he's the best. He's the most powerful engine of destruction in the world. Why does Bane beat Batman? Because he's smart and he takes drugs that make him big and strong.
I said, if they made editorial decree that Superman's going to die, they're going to make Doomsday. They had a good backstory. He was this Kryptonian invention and everything like that. The problem was they didn't give him the ability to beat Superman. He beat Superman because we said he beat Superman. Like he should have
didn't have a personality, John. Remember, he was new.
Like what I mean? Like he should have flew. He should have been better conceived. If you want to beat Superman, you got to because it was obvious. Now Superman and Bane are on the ground punching each other like Muhammad Ali and Frazier. You know what I mean? That's just not the way Superman fights historically.
No, and again, the character did not have a personality. The character was just a mindless engine of destruction. He was stupid. He was an idiot. Maybe he was smart, but he didn't speak. All he did was punch and break things. And going back to Bane was a cheater. Okay, maybe he was smart enough to come up with a perfect way to wear Batman down to the point where he could say, do you guys remember Jesse James? Jesse James, you know how Jesse James died? He got shot in the back.
Yeah.
And same thing with what's the name of that? Wild Bill Hickok. Wild Bill Hickok got shot in the back while he was playing. Those were cowards.
Right.
You don't got the balls to go up front and do it. You wait until the person's defenses are down. You wait until their backs are behind. You're behind them.
Who
That
was
is
the
Bane.
Captain Marvel villain that wouldn't fight Captain Marvel when he was Billy Batson? Like he captured Billy Batson a few times and was just like, no, let him go. I want to fight Captain Marvel. I don't want to kill a 14-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll disagree with you. I think Bane figuring out to wear Batman down, stuff like that. To me, that's just strategy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but he's still a cheat. I know technically he's smart enough to come up with a way to do it, but there's no honor.
right.
There is no honor.
Right.
My problems with Bane is more banal than that. The fact that he grew up in a Mexican culture and gives himself an English name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why does he wear
bothers me so much.
Why does he wear a luchador mask and a pair of
He's not
joggers?
Mexican.
Yeah.
As far as I know, and we got a Latino slat and maybe Oscars in the chat. Are luchadors just popular with anybody who speaks Spanish, or is it just a Mexican thing?
I think it's a Mexican thing, really. I mean,
See, I don't know enough.
But I mean, I remember reading Bane, and he was like, I'm better, I'm superior than Batman, I'm smarter than Batman, da 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 da, and yet you have no honor. Even the Joker has honor. The Joker wouldn't. The Joker wants to be the one to kill him. He doesn't want to do it the cheap way. There have been some stories where the Joker's actually saved him, or stopped someone from killing him.
PB wants to hear what we're talking about, but Superman, in my opinion, beats anybody who can't fly. Or at the very least, he chooses so Bane grapples him, and now you go and you fly off to the moon and you fight. Why did half of Metropolis get destroyed? Because Batman.
The reason Zack Snyder destroyed half of Metropolis in Man of Steel, because it's cool.
Right.
It's cool looking.
You fly into space, you grapple, and then all Superman does is concentrate all of his efforts into breaking free. Fight's over. That's why Superman always beats the Hulk in my.
Or they could fly into the heart of the sun, or they could go into the.
But maybe Doomsday could survive that because he's got the same. But so he lives forever floating in space. If he can't fly, he can't propel himself. But we talked about this ad nauseum. Nolan's films were really good films. They just weren't accurate to the character Batman. That I totally agree with. I still say this. That there hasn't been a good Batman movie. There hasn't been a Batman movie. If Batman's wearing armor and deflecting bullets and using machine guns and bombs, that's not Batman.
You keep forgetting Batman 66, John. They made a film. That as cheesy as that is, that's your Batman. Batman in tights, Batman not killing anybody. There you go.
I agree. Tony, Bane didn't beat Batman. He used tactics to physically, mentally wear him down before fighting him. If he was really better. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Good, very good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll buy that. Like I said, my problems is why would, you know what I mean? Like a Frenchman who lived his entire life in France has an English supervillain name or English, you know what I mean?
Well, I always have a problem with the whole history of Bane is how does a little kid survive that awful prison the whole time too? I mean, and he whipped himself into there's no books there for him to be really smart. I have to reread it, and I missed something.
At the risk of giving out too much information, last week I worked with the Mexican guy, and we just had we had like a time-consuming, but not like there was a lot of time involved in the job. We were doing core drilling, so it was a lot of setting up the machine, and then we had to do the machine slow while it went through these freaking 3-foot concrete. So there was a lot of time that we got to talk. And he was 12 years old, and he spent 5 years in a Mexican prison.
Oh, well, all right, then. I take it back.
The only reason he survived, he said guys tried to sexually assault him a lot because he was American. He spoke English. He got in trouble in America, so his mother brought him to Mexico to live with his grandparents, thinking that, if I keep you away from this element that you hang out with, you'll be. And then he got in trouble again. And the Mexicans didn't like him because they're like, oh, this American kid comes here and starts stealing from us. They wanted to teach him a lesson. But there was an old guy who was like the guy who ran the prison. He was just like, this is a poor lost kid who has no father in his life. You know what I mean? Like he said, that's the only reason he survived. You know, so I wonder if that's the same thing that happened to Bane. Was there somebody that protected a little? See, that's to me is the kind of stuff that would add a lot of dimension and you know, backstory to the character. You know, like
Right.
yeah.
Well, to get back to Bane for my last thing, the canonical last story of the Silver Age, of the Silver Age Superman, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, so perfectly written. As much as I dislike Alan Moore, Luthor, Brainiac, and Mxyzptlk, Bizarro, the Toyman, those are some of the core of his greatest villains. A few originated in the Golden Age. Most of those came out in Silver, and each one was so great. Bizarro took himself out. Superman took out Metallo and the Toyman, and I think it was Lana Lang. Brainiac took out Luthor. Lana Lang took out Brainiac. So I mean, it was just and the big reveal, the big villain behind the piece was Mxyzptlk that Superman himself killed. So that's how you do it. If you're going to take out the big guy, you need to bring out his villains. And don't just create one out of your ass and say, this is the bestest ever because I made him. It doesn't work that way. I mean, maybe for some people it does. For me, like Onslaught. Do any of you guys remember Onslaught? I remember the whole year they were teasing Onslaught. Onslaught is coming. One issue, the Juggernaut ends up getting punched and goes all across the United States, remember? And then they find him. He's in a crater. And the only thing he says is Onslaught. And it's like, okay, what is this? And I see it's this big hulking monstrosity that looks like Magneto, but it's Xavier. Didn't make no damn sense.
Magneto and Xavier.
Yeah, whatever. But it was such a lame thing at the end. And it's like they built it up, but then it was such a letdown because it was just that the thing I was telling you about, the writers were like, it's the best thing ever. Why? Because it's the best thing ever. He can win any fight. Well, then it makes it not interesting. Rather than going back and bringing somebody that actually had put in the effort, put in the time, fighting these characters and giving them their due.
Yeah, Onslaught was another one of those editorial decree villains. Yeah. So Bane is too physically imposing to wait for Batman to be worn out. Big for nothing. Yeah, you're winning me over to your side, people, with this. You know.
Yeah, Bane sucks. No, I'm sorry, Chuck. I love you, but Bane really is a shitty character.
Okay, I don't know if you're purposely misinterpreting what I said, or maybe I said it wrong. But if all it takes to beat Superman is the power to fly, why have enemies you can't? No, if you could, Kite Man can't beat Superman. I'm saying Superman is godlike power and strength, and he could fly. So unless you have to be Superman's equal, and even if you're Superman's equal and you can't fly, Superman has flight gives him such an advantage that even if you're physically stronger than him, he's probably going to beat you unless you have some sort of power, because he could just pick you up. First off, he could choose the environment to the fight. There's no reason for Bane and Superman to fight in Metropolis when Superman could, because Bane is a physical grabber. He's, you know, grab Bane, fly to freaking the middle of the Atlantic Ocean right there.
Well, the one thing Superman did do in that story, he got distracted during the fight, and then he lost after that. He had to stop and save somebody, and then Doomsday didn't care at all.
Right.
The thing that made me laugh about that character,
I think he was on his way to flying him into space.
The thing that made me laugh about that character that was so ridiculous is half of the fight he was literally fighting with one hand behind his back. He was literally beating the entire Justice League with one hand. Like, come on.
That's my point about Superman. If all it takes to beat an enemy is fly, then how's? Well, I got to agree. Superman is difficult to write, and I think Superman. Like, if you want to write Superman, you got to come up with a pitch that's worthy of Superman. Superman is the greatest superhero, and he's also the greatest comic book character. And I think there should be a tier. Like, you don't get to just write Batman. You don't just get to. You start out with America Chavez. All you need to do apparently is be retarded to write America Chavez. So that's that. Then you prove yourself. You work up to, Batman. You work up, but Superman is a special character. what's your pitch? What do you want to do with Superman? Tell me. You know what I mean? Because he's difficult to write. And it's easy to make him boring because he is too powerful. Superman is a Mary Sue, but I got no problem. Superman's he is the exception to all rules.
Superman earned it. He earned his power. Yeah.
And Captain Marvel is the other one, but I don't know. Captain Marvel also spends most of his time as a normal kid who can fall off a building and get poisoned or hit by a truck or something like that. But like I don't know. Like Superman is a unique character, and it takes a unique writer to get him. So I don't know. Is Mark Waid doing a good job? I've been hearing good stuff about.
He knows enough about Superman,
right? I mean, he is a good writer.
I mean, he is an expert. No matter what you think of him, he's an expert on Superman.
Right. He's a crybaby, but he's a good.
Did you ever hear how Doomsday was created? Did you ever hear the story? Apparently, every year they had to go off on like a Superman retreat, all the Superman guys.
Yeah, they did
and every
that.
year they said, "What are we going to plan? What are we going to plan?" And everyone was out of ideas. And finally, somebody said, "Let's kill him." And everyone just stopped and looked. It's like, yeah, okay. So Mike Carlin came up with the whole Doomsday thing, and it was like, that is so lame.
It's funny. It's funny. This is my other problem.
Barry Ordway said, "Let's kill him," and he was kidding.
He was the one that said it. Okay, yeah.
My problem.
He wasn't that serious.
Is even at the time I was like, Superman's not dying. Like they're saying it on the news, and my brother's like, "Oh, we're gonna buy the Superman." I'm like, it's not gonna die. And I even said it. I said that he's gonna be in some sort of stupid Kryptonian coma, and he's gonna come back. So like I was like insulted by the gimmickness of it.
Well, they did take a while before they brought him back, though.
Right, but
at least they did that. It wasn't like next, 2
like,
months from now. It took them a year.
Dead means dead. Like don't keep coming back. Like I keep saying, like in DC, in Marvel, like why would anybody be religious? You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Jesus came back from the dead. But yeah, well, so did Marvel. You know what I mean? Why came back from the dead? Or, you know what I mean? Like Larry, what's his name? The guy who delivers the mail came back from the dead.
And that's the genius of Jim Shooter. Dead means dead. God bless that, man. If we had, Science should clone a bunch of them and put them in charge of Disney, Warner Brothers. You need somebody like that keeps the rules, enforces them. You know,
Darkseid can beat Superman without breaking a sweat. Then he can't fly. Well, yeah. Well, Darkseid, he's got that. My problem with Darkseid is the Omega beams kill you instantly unless they don't. Once they make these declarative statements that nothing can beat the Omega beams, and then they don't work. Like the one time Superman flew around so fast that the Omega beams followed him and then hit Darkseid, that was clever. But now Aunt May surviving Omega beam blast, that's supposedly.
If you guys ever watched the last episode of Justice League Unlimited, literally Batman evades the Omega beams. Batman can outrun the Omega. I remember looking at that going, dude, come on,
Batman did a lot of stuff in that series.
So Darkseid could be.
It's an interesting series.
He can't fly. I don't know. Can Darkseid beat Superman without breaking a sweat? I remember the Justice League animated series. That was a great dramatic fight. Again, my problem with that fight is Batman and Darkseid Superman and Darkseid just went like boxers. Superman, fly, come on, use your tactical advantage. But it was still cool looking. But Darkseid was created to, like, Galactus could probably beat Superman. Galactus could probably fly too. I don't know, but like Darkseid he's not Doomsday. Doomsday is just this moron walking around punching things.
Exactly. Bizarro should have been able to kill Superman because Bizarro's Superman's physical equal. And Bizarro actually, unlike Doomsday, he has a personality. He's charming and dangerous.
I still love Beavis. It's funny. Beavis and Butthead's like, oh, this is great. This is great. I hate them. I think it was like 3 months that I liked Beavis and Butthead. Just like Rick and Morty, man. I think I lasted 3 seasons. Now it's like I cringe whenever I see Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
Joshua is doing great on Superman, but Superman Prime replaced him for now. See, I didn't know this. He used the parademon as a shield. Okay, so Batman grabbed the parademon and the parademon got hit.
Yeah, but Batman should not have been faster than the damn Omega beams. The Omega beams should have zapped him out of. Again, this isn't Batman. This is Bat God we're talking about, the one that could survive plunging into the Earth's atmosphere from outer space without a spacesuit.
Well, see, that's why I think making the declarative statement that the Omega beams kill you no matter what, like the ultimate nullifier. The ultimate nullifier is so powerful it can kill Galactus, so therefore it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the ultimate nullifier is the Deus Ex Machina, and then Deus Ex Machina, very rarely, I'm not going to say it doesn't always work, but very rarely does it, it do what it's intended to. We could all, I know Marcus agrees with me that the ending of the original Galactus story was bad.
It's true.
Stan and Jack wrote themselves into a corner in that one, and it shows.
Darkseid cannot be written by anyone other than his creator, because in my opinion, nobody understands the character better than Kirby.
I'll disagree.
Darkseid to do it. Everyone else.
Was it Paul Levitz that wrote the Great Darkness Saga, or was it Jim Shooter? I forget.
That was
Levitz.
That was decent. That was Paul Levitz. That was decent. But the actual character, the new gods, they are very much tied in with Kirby's vision. And every time someone else tries to do it, like what you said, a fight between Darkseid and Superman should be like this. Darkseid could zap him, he's gone, he's dead. Darkseid is not a physical character. He does not like to get his hands dirty. Why the hell would he box? Why would he fight somebody? He has people to do that for him. Darkseid is a god. Lucifer doesn't get into fistfights with people behind the building of his club. Darkseid is a schemer. Darkseid is up there. He doesn't deal with it. So I always thought it was stupid that Darkseid would even fight in the first place.
And this is you call me a hypocrite, whatever you want, but I was talking about the other day that Batman always loses to Superman. I don't care, even with Kryptonite, because Superman reacts faster than Batman can possibly react.
I think that's one thing, and I'm watching these Justice League stories that they forget that Superman is almost as fast as the Flash.
Right. So
and he's flying and he's not getting any faster than anybody else. I don't understand that.
As soon as he feels the kryptonite radiation, he's out of there. Boom.
Exactly.
But I will say this: Darkseid is a universal level threat. Like he should know Kryptonians, and I would even say that Darkseid's like, you okay, Superman? You want to fight me? And he just tunes his Omega beams into kryptonite blasts and takes out Superman.
Exactly. A fight between those two would be stupid. It would be over. It would be like him fighting Galactus. Galactus would show up in front of Superman. That's it. That's he would be dead. There's no way around that.
But, Darkseid's not. He's like, oh, you're a Kryptonian. You're a race. I've studied your race for millennia. I know everything about you guys. I'll refrequency my Omega beam. The K beams now. You buy Superman, and then Batman's like, we're screwed.
John, I really recommend please read the entire Fourth World Saga. I know
I've been slowly getting them all, like as I find them. So I gotta wait till I get them all in order.
Mm-hmm.
I have the omnibus, but I just can't stand the coloring. I got the Fourth World omnibus. I bought it and I opened it up, and it's like the coloring is so bright. It's terrible.
I know, but you got to read the story. The story is great, and the thing about the omnibus is they're on sequential order. Because remember, the Fourth World Saga was separated within Jimmy Olsen, New Gods, Mr. Miracle.
I'm buying them as it, and then there's a website that tells you the reading order, the proper reading order. Yeah, well,
yeah, they didn't come out on time, which is why in the right order. Which is why one of the reasons why people are confused by it.
We've been talking for almost 2.5 hours, and even though I got my second wind, I got to wake up at 5 a.m. So what do we? Oh, we're gonna do European characters, but in Europe. We're not going to do, Captain America is Scottish or whatever. You know what I mean? We're going to do characters that operate in Europe. And then Herrenberg said Jewish characters. That's an interesting one because there there are a couple of really cool.
Just a handful, though. I mean, do you really
there's not a lot.
Yeah.
There's only 2% of the superheroes are Jewish, but they have overrepresentation in the media and banking.
Uh-huh.
But
That's
so
pretty.
yeah, we'll do European characters, and I keep saying every week, let's get back to like fight. But I think we did enough about fighting with Darkseid and Superman and Bane and everything. I really enjoyed the Bane discussion. It was because I don't want to say that I don't like the character because I like Chuck, but like I think he would laugh it off. You know,
I'm sure he would. He seems like he's got a great sense of humor.
yeah, he would laugh it off and be like him, schmike him. The guy made me a fortune. He paid for my house.
Yeah, right. Well, that's ultimately right. That's absolutely correct. And I'm hoping he's used more.
I just wish he would get back to Airboy. You know, that's my. I know that Airboy probably makes him no money, little to no money, but gosh,
Boy.
He tried, and he did issue 51. He kickstarted it. I don't think it was worth.
Yeah, that's a shame. That is a shame. But so
Airboy is a tough sell. That is a weird character. You know, he's
have you done Aviator superheroes?
no, that's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one. Aviator superhero. You know, people, this is supposed to be an open invite chat. If you have ideas for it's clobbering time, as you can see, I'm starting to putter out on ideas. Put them in the comments, not the live chat, the comments after the video is done. That way I could retrieve them. Or you can always email me at johnslongbox@yahoo.com for it's clobbering time ideas. And remember, it's an open invite. You know, turn on your microphone. Let's see your face. Let's have a conversation. And
have you guys talked that Squadron Supreme versus Silver Age Justice League?
that's a good one.
Because they're basically the same thing, kind of.
The same thing, but like unfortunately, the DC guys just Superman takes them out.
Well, how strong is Hyperion? You would know that being a Marvel guy.
Well, could Superman beat Wonder Man?
What, like the Simon Williams? I guess I'm not much of a Marvel guy.
Then he could beat Hyperion. You know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because the Marvel characters, which I like about them, is they're not as powerful as the DC counterparts. You know, but at this point, I would like to remind everybody that I have a campaign on Fund My Comic, the Hero Tales Christmas special. We got a couple sales the past couple of days, so thank you, everybody. This is nearly complete. Like I said, the coloring's done, the art's done. I'm just redoing the script because sometimes what Oscar draws and what I write in the script is different. So you got to tweak the dialogue, you got to tweak the script a little bit, and then that'll be done in a week, and we can go to print. So I was going to hold off, but I'm not going to say I'm going to print this soon, but this is done. We already started another comic with Renzo, so this is happening faster, sooner rather than later. So I mean, look at this art by Andres. He's so good. He's so good. He already got snatched up and he's working for somebody else, and then he's going to come back and work on another story for me. I love this. I mean, we all agree that Renzo's art is outstanding, but look, it's colored by Oscar. It's so good. I don't know. I just love the coloring of this camping channel right here. It's just so good. And 16-page King Fu story. He goes to rescue a lost Vietnam soldier. He's not Vietnamese. He's a soldier in Vietnam. And Christmas Magic, the patriarch, tells us the secret, as told to him by Santa Claus himself, of Christmas Magic. So back it's happening. It's mostly done. And crowdfunding. I delivered on time. This is my third time. I'm going to deliver sooner rather than later. So check it out, everybody. $10, 2 covers, 2 stories. You don't need anything else. You're not going to be lost. It's self-contained, but please get everything else. And subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. All the YouTube stuff that I never, ever, ever say. So. So, Tony, we'll start down with you. Anything you want to say?
Please support John. Please watch Marcus drawing stuff if you're still doing that, Marcus.
We're going to draw. I think you're supposed to be on tomorrow, but I don't know if Omer contacted you, John.
Oh, it's tomorrow. What time?
Tomorrow's the 20th, 9 o'clock. You don't have to. We can put it on another week if you want.
9 p.m. Eastern.
9, because
That-
he
that's-
starts
that's
at
fine.
8 Central.
Because tomorrow I'm going to be on content on Crenshaw at 7. So
Okay, well, you don't have to do it. We can
no,
push you off.
2 hours is fine to talk to anybody. No, and then I'll.
We can't go too late because if you have to work, because he goes to like midnight.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to be working on Sunday anyway.
All right, well, let me know. Whichever case, or Omer was going to contact you.
Yeah, he did. I just slipped, but 9 o'clock is perfect. That
All right,
works.
yeah, he's in Central Time, so it's an hour later.
Okay, cool.
Geez, I was on his show, the Hump Day show, and he was going to midnight. I was falling asleep. I was in the hotel. I work all day. I was falling asleep.
Even if we go to 9, I could talk for an hour.
Yeah, that's all. And I'll draw some. I'll draw King Fu or something.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So there you go, everybody. And
All right,
I think
great.
time for me to say goodbye, kids.